Chapter 2080 Red Flame Porcupine LV-20 Common Boss. Previously, the Silver Moon Wolf King they had fought had only been level 15. This time, however, the Silver Moon Wolf King was level 20. Look at the porcupine. He looked like he wasn't someone to be trifled with. Didn't you say that there are other bosses? Why don't we go and fight the low-level ones and level up before fighting this one? It was a pity that he could kill a normal monster that was a higher level than him. Boss, there was a gap of 8 levels. Yi Zichen didn't even need to worry about whether or not he could break through his opponent's defenses. He just had to wait for the chance to instantly kill him. What he cared about was fault tolerance. If it slapped a level 20 boss, wouldn't Yi Zichen be instantly killed? This is already the lowest level. White Phoenix raised her dagger. It looked like she was ready to start the fight. The lowest? In other words, the next boss would be of a higher level than it? You're joking, right? Yi Zichen couldn't help but say, "Friend, look at our levels. If it wasn't for my secret technique, do you think the two of us would be able to defeat this boss? If you didn't have a secret method, would I hire you?" White Phoenix frowned as well. Isn't it because you have a secret technique that allows us to defeat high-level bosses? There are low-level bosses too, but do you think you can compete with them? What you said makes so much sense that I don't even know how to retort. In the Milky Way, at Yi Zichen's novice village, there were at least tens of millions of players. The average level of the players was around level 10. Bosses below level 20 would really be fought over by a large number of players. Especially among these players, there were also quite a few organizations similar to Overlord Alliance. They had a lot of people, so it was fine if there were only a few players competing with them for bosses, but if there were too many, it would be very troublesome. A few hours after the game started, he had already made an enemy out of an organization. If he continued to make an enemy out of it, looking at Bai Feng's expression, she didn't seem to care at all. However, Yi Zichen didn't want her to keep killing. The girl had killed too many people. If he continued killing, he might even become a wanted man in the game. Are we fighting or not? Bai Feng frowned and urged, "Fight! Start attacking." As soon as Yi Zichen said that, Bai Feng charged forward impatiently. The dagger stabbed the porcupines, but roar, ding, the red flame porcupine has gone berserk. The pig has gone berserk, Bai Feng said as she stood rooted to the spot. What do you mean by berserk? My sister, what exactly do you do? You came up and stabbed someone's chrysanthemum. Who wouldn't go berserk? Roar. The red flame porcupine howled at the sky in pain. The red hair on its head suddenly grew longer. Its entire body began to burn with flames. Roar. Tap, tap, tap. The porcupine's 4 hooves generated wind as it stomped on the ground, leaving small flames on the ground. Little fellow, you're quite fierce. Holding her dagger, White Phoenix nimbly dodged the porcupine's attack. She circled behind the porcupine and accurately stabbed it in the butt. Yi Zichen's expression instantly darkened. Elder sister, you're just making the game more difficult. Roar. The porcupine's eyes were bloodshot, and its tail was tightly protecting its anus. Charge! At that moment, the porcupine could only see White Phoenix. Come and fight. Bai Feng pinned down the porcupine, then hurried Yi Zichen, stabbing his chrysanthemum. Roar. Yeah, this guy's crazy. White Phoenix squinted her eyes. She did not reveal any hint of fear towards the enraged porcupine. From the looks of it, and a bit excited, Yi Zichen let out a deep breath, then charged forward with his sword in hand. Clang! The sword landed on the porcupine's back. It barely lost any health. Yi Zichen was already prepared to dodge the porcupine's attack, but the porcupine completely ignored him. F***CK. That works? The porcupine's aggro was firmly pulled by White Phoenix. Continue stabbing it. Yi Zichen revealed a look of joy. Hearing that, White Phoenix nodded, then stabbed back. I'll chop. I'll chop. I'll chop. Yi Zichen chased after the porcupine and continuously hacked. He didn't need to care about the porcupine's weaknesses. All he needed to do was wait for the secret technique to activate at that moment. It's here. Yi Zichen felt a surge of power from his arm. Ding! Congratulations, Milky Way Beginner's Village. Player Future, White Phoenix, successfully killed Red Flame Porcupine LV-20 a mortal level boss. Due to it being the first kill, you received 1 luck. I'm on TV again. The red flame porcupine fell to the ground. The experience provided by the porcupine instantly brought Yi Zichen to level 14. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining a title on the Heaven leaderboard. I'm back on the Heaven leaderboard. Since Yi Zichen was the one who killed the boss, he received more experience. White Phoenix reached level 13. The moment the boss fell, White Phoenix ran in front of the boss's corpse. Not long later, she shrugged and left. It's all yours. It didn't drop what you needed again. Yi Zichen picked up the equipment. No, what I need is rather hard to drop. White Phoenix smiled. Yi Zichen could tell that she was still a bit depressed. All right, let's hurry up and go to the next boss. We can go, but can you stop stabbing people's butts? It would go berserk with a single stab. Berserk bosses were very dangerous. Is there a problem with attacking its weakness? White Phoenix was confused. What's more, it's not attacking you. I'll pull it, and you can attack from behind. You're so right, I don't have Asterisk King know how to retort. Let's go. Since White Phoenix wasn't going to budge, he didn't continue. It was just like she said, the boss was attacking White Phoenix, so why should I worry? In the next 6 hours, ding. Congratulations to Milky Way Novice Village. Player Future, White Phoenix, successfully killed Charm Moth LV25, mortal level boss. Due to this being the first kill, you received 1 luck point. Ding. Congratulations to Milky Way Novice Village. Player Future, White Phoenix, successfully killed Green Pattern Snake LV25, mortal level boss. Due to this being the first kill, you received 1 luck point. Ding. Congratulations to Milky Way Novice Village. During these 6 hours, Yi Zichen and White Phoenix killed a total of 8 bosses. And this was because they wasted a lot of time running around maps. The actual time they took to kill the bosses was less than an hour. The Milky Way Novice Village was in an uproar. What the hell are these 2 people doing? How many first kills have they gotten? Experts. They might be titled experts in the universe. How could normal players kill bosses so easily? Titled level. Countless players exclaimed. Titled level was already considered high class in the universe. The chances of encountering a titled level in a novice village was actually very low. This was because there were too many novice villages, but there were very few titled experts. Of course, very few was relative to the number of humans and vassal races in the universe. But if they weren't titled, there was no way to explain it. Up until now, the highest level among them was only level 17. Yi Zichen and company had already started killing level 30 bosses. All of them were first kills. The players all felt like they were hallucinating. Could it be that all the first kills of bosses in the novice village were taken by them? Chapter 2081. Ding! The players were busy fighting monsters or repeating quests from the newbie village felt their hearts skip a beat. Here it comes again. Congratulations to the Milky Way Beginners Village. Player Future, White Phoenix, has successfully killed Armored Earth Crocodile LV35, a common boss. As it is the first kill, you have received 1 luck point. F***CK. I'm not playing anymore. Suddenly, one of the players dropped the wooden sword in his hand. More than 90% of the players were still struggling outside the novice village, fighting for the pheasants with others. Yi Zichen and Bai Feng. Including the Silver Moon Wolf King at the beginning, they had already killed 10 bosses. What else was there to play? There was no way to make up for the gap in the game. Damn, it's them again. Overlord Might, who was farming monsters, clenched his fists tightly. After the Silver Moon Wolf King was stolen, they still hadn't encountered the boss. However, the 2 of them had killed 10 of them. After a long while, he took a deep breath and looked at the level rankings. Future level 24. White Phoenix LV23, the 2 of them were at the top of the level rankings. Ranked 3rd was the Withered Tree. He was only level 17. The Overlord Alliance's main force in the galaxy's novice village was only level 15. The ranking list had yet to start. There was no need to even think about it. Yi Zichen and White Phoenix, who had killed 10 bosses, were definitely much more prepared than the other players. In the short term, he probably wouldn't be able to find trouble with them, at least in the game. They could only wait to leave the novice village and enter the universe. The other novice village players could use the wormhole to travel through the universe. It wouldn't be too late to make trouble for Yi Zichen and Bai Feng then. The most important thing right now was to quickly level up. It looks like no one will be able to complete our bounty. The Overlord of the Divine Statue Alliance couldn't help but sigh. The other Overlord Alliance members nodded in agreement. What's wrong with the game? I can't find trouble with him in the game, but can I do it in real life? Overlord might narrowed his eyes. I'll log off later and ask the people from the virtual world group where they logged in from. Young Master Wei, are you really going to? Black name Overlord furrowed his eyebrows. I don't think it's a good idea to solve problems in the game in real life. Besides, they're probably at the titled rank or above. What's there to be afraid of? Overlord Might's eyes flickered fiercely. Those who offend me, I must make them suffer. You don't have to persuade me. I have to get their address. The others stopped trying to console him. The few of them weren't normal people either. They were all experts above the universe warlord level. The main reason he knew how to play the game was because of the might of Overlord. Virtual World Corporation. He was the son of a department head in the Northeast region. In order to climb up the tree that was the Virtual World Corporation, they had followed Overlord Might and played games for tens of thousands of years. For him, he had also killed many people who provoked him in the game. In the past, the people who played games were all salted fish who didn't know how to improve themselves, or the young masters and ladies of certain families. They were generally not very strong. Universe levels were few and far between. It was different this time. The game released in the virtual world had overlords, venerables, and title masters. A true expert, whether it was Future or White Phoenix, both of them were too mysterious. The frequency at which they killed the bosses and the ease with which 100 Phoenix killed them were especially noticeable. One had to know they were all warrior-level experts. Even though the game didn't reflect the advantages of being a universe warrior, they still had combat experience. They were able to be killed by 100 Phoenix without being able to fight back. It was very possible that 100 Phoenix had killed more people than them in real life. She was of a higher level. Overlord Might was probably going to meet a Hard Rock this time. He just didn't know if Yi Zichen and Bai Phoenix were stronger than Overlord Might's father. If it was a titled master, Overlord Might of the Duke rank and above would be defeated. They looked at each other and sighed, then continued to pull and fight monsters. They controlled the monster's HP and let Overlord Might deal the last hit. Hope, Yi Zichen and White Phoenix were both dukes and above. Otherwise, they would suffer as well. It still didn't drop? Yi Zichen couldn't help but walk up and ask when he saw White Phoenix walk away from the boss's corpse. Yeah. White Phoenix let out a sigh. Then, she quickly revealed a forced smile. I had too much hope. How could it drop after a few bosses? That was what she said. White Phoenix continued to squat on the ground and silently poke at the grass on the ground. She was depressed. I don't know what you want a boss's drops for, but it's normal for rare materials to drop so little. Yi Zichen comforted White Phoenix. Yi Zichen comforted White Phoenix. Actually, you might as well enjoy the fun of playing games and the joy of killing bosses. You might get the materials you need when you kill a boss one day. Your goal is too strong, so it will cause a huge psychological gap. Yi Zichen squatted on the ground. Look at our levels. I'm level 25, and you're level 24. We're way ahead. I have a bunch of equipment in my backpack that other players want but can't. Equipment? It's fine if you need to buy it. White Phoenix looked at the equipment on the ground and twitched her mouth. Rich people. She's so stubborn. All right, you don't need to comfort me. I admit that my mentality is a bit problematic. The boss is gone, so I'm going to log off. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll try to enjoy the game a bit. White Phoenix waved her hand and left the game. Yi Zichen looked at her grayed-out name. Friend, did you not send me money yet? Yi Zichen muttered. Of course, he wouldn't chase after her. Even if White Phoenix didn't give it to him, the dropped equipment could still be sold for quite a bit. Ding! Respected Universe Gold Card user, 50,000 Universe credits has been transferred to your account. Just look, Yi Zichen knew that White Phoenix definitely wasn't someone that lacked money. Thank you, boss. Yi Zichen sent a message in the virtual chat. White Phoenix sent 2 smiley faces. Yi Zichen's consciousness returned to the game. The equipment dropped by the 9 bosses caused Yi Zichen's backpack to be completely filled. He left behind the equipment he needed. There were 10-odd more that he wanted to sell. Friend, did you run into some sort of problem? Yi Zichen suddenly received a private message in the game. Witheredwood, I have to congratulate you for getting the first kill of 9 bosses. You dropped quite a bit of equipment, right? Do you have any that you need to deal with? I have some rare equipment here. You wait too timely, right? Ow, but you're only level 17. My equipment is all above level 20. You'll have to level up eventually, don't you think? Witheredwood quickly sent a private message over. I can't get the first kill, but I can use your equipment to drink some soup, right? How about it? How about selling it to me? Sure. Yi Zichen also wanted to quickly sell the equipment. Only then would he be able to buy milk powder of higher quality for the elemental fairies. Then let's meet at the auction house. Chapter 2082. At the Milky Way Novice Village. The bustling players shuttled back and forth in the novice village. They were either replenishing supplies or handing in quests. There were also... Blacksmith, do you know who Lousy is? Lousy borrowed 5,000 star coins from you, and you're not going to give it to me? Do you believe that Lousy won't beat you up? A level 3 player held a wooden sword in front of the smithy. Yi Zichen saw it with his own eyes. The blacksmith used a hammer larger than the player's head to smash him into white light. Village chief, I also want to accept quests. He acted cute for the sake of quests. Bro, do you have any quests? Here's 2,000 star coins to buy alcohol for us, bro bribe. And a threat from before. This game was developed by players and was about to become a reality. What was more terrifying was someone succeeded. The person who bribed the soldier seemed to have received some sort of quest and left the village in satisfaction. The soldier looked at the star coins in his hand and smiled. Haha, are you surprised? Suddenly, Yi Zichen heard a hearty laugh in his ears. Yi Zichen looked to his side. The eye-catching title of the Heaven Leaderboard was above Gumu's head. Wow, it's the 3rd on the Heaven Leaderboard, Gumu. So cool. It was hard not to be noticed with a title like that. Many players couldn't help but exclaim when they saw Gumu. Look, there's someone standing beside Gumu. Future, number 1 on the leaderboard. The Future who got 10 first kills. The Overlord Alliance is still after him. Future God, can I be your woman? I can find you in real life. Do you think I'm pretty? Future God, can I become your disciple? More and more players gathered. Gumu couldn't help but shrug enviously. I'm so jealous. I'm on the Heaven Leaderboard every day, but I don't get this kind of treatment. More and more players came. Many of them even returned to the city, causing the village to be completely surrounded. It's too noisy with so many people. With that, Gumu walked into the auction house. Guess, please. Yi Zichen saw him take out a black card. Then the auction house staff brought him to a resting room. Thank you. Gumu took out 500 star coins and placed it in the hands of the staff. The staff member was overjoyed. He hurriedly thanked him and said good things before leaving. There were about 100 green rice grains in the lounge. The interior was fully furnished, with a sofa, a table, and a place for people to rest, a double bed. Future sit. Gumu took a menu from the table, clicked on it twice, and 2 bottles of drinks appeared on the table. I'm sorry, I don't like drinking. Witheredwood smiled apologetically while carrying the juice. Me too. He took a sip of the juice. The juice tasted sweet. It felt like watermelon juice on Earth. Ding, you have obtained a HP bonus state, duration, 30 minutes. This drink has buffs. How is it? This is my favorite kind of fruit juice. 1 cup costs 5,000 star coins. How extravagant. Yi Zichen was speechless. A drink in the game cost 5,000 star coins, and this was in the early stages of the game. Living in this world, the most important thing is to enjoy. Gumu leaned on the sofa and smiled. How did you get this lounge? I saw you show a card to the auction house staff just now. Yi Zichen asked. You mean this? Gumu took out the black card and threw it on the table. This is the auction house's VIP card. Normally, there will be a 10% processing fee for auction goods. Owning this card will cost you 5%. You can do it at the counter next to the auction house for 200,000 star coins. You can also Gumu winked at Yi Zichen and rubbed his fingers together. His intentions were self-evident. Bribery? That works too. Yi Zichen was shocked. Why not? The Virtual World Corporation has put a lot of effort into making this game. Not only did they completely restore the universe, but the NPCs here also have their own consciousness. The monsters we fight are all like that. Didn't you see a player bribing a quest? 90% of my team's missions are bribed. Kumu replied solemnly, and then drank his drink in satisfaction. This was way too real. Bribery was allowed within the game. All right, let's get down to business. Kumu placed his drink on the table and rubbed his hands in anticipation. I wonder what kind of good equipment Future Bro got. I'm not picky, no matter if it's heavy armor, light armor, leather armor, cloth armor, or long swords, spears, daggers, staffs. I want them all. What do you want so many for? I have a team. Kumu shrugged. I can't just buy equipment for myself and forget about the others in the team, right? Yi Zichen nodded, then waved his hand. All of a sudden, the entire room was illuminated by different colored lights. Take a look. Yi Zichen did not need any of these. He had already left a full set of gold-level defensive equipment and accessories for himself, as well as a dark gold-level longsword. The longsword could only be equipped at level 30. His current level was not high enough. Zaziz, the person who got the first kill for the boss, is truly not normal. There's a bunch of gold-level equipment and even a few azure ones. White equipment was the worst equipment, followed by azure blue equipment, gold equipment, dark gold equipment, dark gold equipment. As for what came after that, Yi Zichen did not know. He had not gotten any yet, and the official site did not announce all the levels of the equipment. Yi Zichen looked through all the attributes of the equipment. Kumu licked his lips. Future Bro didn't get dark gold? Yi Zichen frowned. How did he know that there was dark gold equipment? It did. Can you show it to me? Yi Zichen copied the attributes of the equipment into the chat. Kumu remained silent for 2 minutes. 500,000 universe dollars. Are you selling it? Kumu reached out 5 fingers. Yi Zichen's heart trembled when he heard the number. 500,000. I had to calm down. A piece of equipment in the early stages of the game could be sold for 500,000. That was something Yi Zichen did not even dare to think about. Not selling. After a long while, Yi Zichen shook his head. What a pity. Kumu revealed a regretful expression, while his face was filled with disappointment. Future Bro doesn't want to, so I won't force you. I've roughly looked through your equipment. I can give you 50,000 universe dollars. So little. Kumu had already given him 10,000 for a level 15 dagger. Friend, these pieces of equipment of yours are all level 20 or level 30. Ignoring the time needed to level up, a piece of gold-level equipment of this level is already not considered to be top-notch equipment of its level. Starting from level 30, it can drop dark gold and purple equipment. 50,000 is already a lot. What's more, me packing it also saves you a lot of trouble in selling it, right? If you put on the auction house, you'll need to pay a fee. You also need time to sell the in-game coins. You can go and get more equipment during this time. Isn't that so? Chapter 2083. Gumu's words were sincere. For a moment, Yi Zichen felt like he was hallucinating. Was this guy a salesman? Your 12 pieces of equipment. I'll give you 50,000. Actually, on average, each item is worth more than 4,100. It's not a loss. Sure. Yi Zichen really didn't want to waste time. Gumu smiled after hearing this. Ding, respected Universe Gold Card user. Your account has received 50,000 universe dollars. The money's over, so these items are mine now. Kumu put away the equipment on the table with a chuckle. Yi Zichen felt like he was on the losing end when he saw Kumu's cunning merchant look. However, he wouldn't lose too much. He wasn't a noob either. When he went to the auction house to sell the dagger, he roughly understood the market for equipment in the game. That dagger was of higher quality. That was why it was sold at a higher price. This time, the equipment was all common gold equipment, and there were very few equipment entries. This price was more or less reasonable. Throwing them all to Witheredwood would save him a lot of time. The deal is over. I'm leaving too. Just as Yi Zichen was about to leave with a smile, Gumu suddenly stood up. Brother Future, are you interested in joining our team? Team, Our team has just been formed, and we have about 20,000 members. I won't talk about the situation in real life, but if you join, I can guarantee that the Overlord will not dare to make trouble for you in real life, Deadwood said as he threw out an olive branch. Overlords might. If it wasn't for Kumu mentioning him, Yi Zichen would have nearly forgotten about him. You mean, he'll find trouble with me, in reality? Where did you hear that? Ha ha, Gumu laughed. I guessed it. Isn't that guy wanted? Then let him come. Yi Zichen didn't mind it too much. He didn't know anyone in the game, so no one entered the game with him. If he wanted to know his location, he would have to get it from the Virtual World Corporation's internal network. This possibility was too low. Almost zero. Looks like Future Brother is going to reject me. Kumu sighed deeply. However, I still have to remind Future Brother to be careful. Overlord Might is not a simple person. All right, I'll remember that. Gumu directly logged out of the game, then looked at Yi Zichen's already dimmed in-game character. How confident! When he left the game, it was already late at night in reality. Bain clenched her small hands and stood in front of the boxes in the living room. His eyes were filled with fear. Outside the house, Curry followed a few of his brothers, carefully patrolling. He was afraid that someone would barge in. I'm back, Bain. Bain, who was extremely anxious in the living room, softened when she heard Yi Zichen's voice. Mr. Yi, you're finally out. Is there a problem? Yi Zichen couldn't help but frown when he saw Bai Yin's expression, then scanned the house with his divine sense. Bai Yi was reading a book in her room. The others were there too. Mr. Yi, can you not ask me to buy elemental crystals for you in the future? These elemental crystals are too expensive. I'm really worried that something might go wrong. Bai Yin sounded like she was about to cry. You wouldn't know until you bought it. After buying it, only then did she realize that the things Yi Zichen wanted her to buy actually cost 100,000 universe credits. Universe dollars. She had never seen or even heard of so much money in her life. The same was true for Curry. The two of them were on tenterhooks along the way, fearing that someone would steal the elemental crystals. When they returned to the school, Curry even found a few friends to guard the place with him, in case criminals came to steal the elemental crystals. You're talking about this? Yi Zichen smiled, then patted Bai Yin's shoulder. Call Curry and company in. I saw a few unfamiliar faces outside. They were the people he called over, right? Call them in for a drink. Half an hour later, Yi Zichen expressed his thanks to Curry's brothers and paid them 20,000 Blue River dollars as a reward. During that period of time, some of them hinted that they wanted to stay by Yi Zichen's side. Level 3 star. They were rejected by Yi Zichen. Part of the reason was that Yi Zichen didn't care about their strength. The other part was a stranger. Yi Zichen didn't like it. Who knew if he had a purpose for coming here? If he really lacked guards, then he could just buy slaves. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen was stunned. Yeah, buy slaves. He had a lot of universe dollars on hand. Although the milk powder of elemental fairies was rather low level, it was enough for them to eat for a while. It was better to buy some slaves. That way, even if Jim and Wei wanted to cause trouble for him in the future, he wouldn't be afraid. Bai Yin, here. Bai Yin still hadn't recovered from her shock and revealed a worried look. Get these helmets out. You owe people each get one. Log into the virtual world, download the second world game, and go into play. Bai Yin doubted her ears. You heard wrong. I'm telling you guys to go into play. Just treat it as an order from me. Okay. Bai Yin picked up 3 helmets from the table. Tell Bai Yu to enter the game as well. Bai Yin nodded and left the living room. Yi Zichen logged onto the virtual network and found the slave merchant from his contacts. Ball had said the price that the slave merchant gave in the level 7 star realm was rather reasonable. He had 100,000 universe dollars right now. He wouldn't buy a star compass. It wouldn't be too much to buy a few level 6 star realm ones, right? The most important point was he had a great plan in mind. Hey G, here. Almost instantaneously, Hey G replied. You replied so quickly. Are you in the virtual network 24/7? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Mr. Yi, I have no choice. It's for the sake of living. Not long after Yi Zichen sent the message, Hey G sent another one. Mr. Yi, you definitely didn't find me just to chat, right? Of course, I'm not saying that I don't like chatting with you, but I know that Mr. Ye's time is precious, so I don't want to waste it. This guy, he really knows how to talk. I came to buy some slaves from you. Sure, what level? I heard that level 6 star realm is 5,000 universe dollars, right? Level 5 is 2,000 universe dollars. That's right. Heiji was overjoyed. He knew that Yi Zichen would definitely give him a huge order. I need 5 level 6 star realm and 10 level 5 star realm slaves. Sure, when do you need them? Is a transaction location still Blue River Planet? That's right. I'll send the slaves over tomorrow. I'll go and arrange it right now. Don't worry. Yi Zichen sent another message when he saw Heiji's anxious look. I also want to buy some domain level slaves. Domain level? Heiji hesitated for a long time, then replied, Sorry, Mr. Yi, I've already sold all the domain level slaves. Chapter 2084. Domain level. Sold out. Since when were domain level slaves so popular? All gone. Yi Zichen asked subconsciously. In truth, he was just too shocked, so he couldn't help but ask. With the mercenary nature of slave traders, if there really was a domain ranker, they wouldn't have hidden it. They're all gone. In the virtual network, Heiji also smiled bitterly. Who wouldn't do business? Indeed, all the domain level items were sold out. Actually, he was also quite puzzled. In the past, very few people bought domain level slaves. Most of them were slave traders who had implanted chips in their bodies. Let them work. Suddenly, in the last 2 days, the domain class slaves were swept clean, and his superiors gave the order that no more domain class slaves would be sold in the future. Unfortunately, from this morning onwards, a large number of people had come to purchase domain level slaves. Yi Zichen was only one of them. All right, Yi Zichen sighed, then replied on the virtual network. I'll buy the stellar level ones. Shall we trade face-to-face, or shall I transfer the money to you directly? Let's meet face-to-face. Heiji replied. This is our first time working together. It won't be too late to transfer the money after we work together more, and Mr. Yi trusts me more. No problem. After confirming the time and location of the transaction, Yi Zichen prepared to leave the virtual network. At this moment, Heiji sent another message. Mr. Yi, I have a question. Of course, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Ask, why did you buy domain-level slaves? You? Yi Zichen nodded after a brief moment of hesitation when he saw the message on the black base. Domain-level slaves were being bought in bulk. Naturally, there were many buyers. He naturally had his own reasons for buying domain-level slaves. Others might not have the same thoughts as him. He really wasn't too sure. There was no reply for a long time. Perhaps Heiji also knew that his question was a little private. I've said too much. Mr. Yi, please wait patiently. I will definitely arrive at our agreed location tomorrow evening. All right. After leaving the virtual network, Yi Zichen sat on the sofa in his room. Domain rank? Why was it so popular? Yi Zichen shook his head, then summoned his elemental fairy. The elemental elves that appeared in the living room were all filled with anticipation. It was as if they already knew that Yi Zichen had bought elemental crystals for them. I smell the water elemental. The usually lazy water elemental sprite twitched its nose and walked around the room. Here, the electric elemental sprite had already gone to open the chest. It held an electric elemental crystal in its hand, gnawing on it bit by bit. What an abundance of lightning elemental energy. The thunder elemental sprite exclaimed in surprise as it held the elemental crystal. Thank you. Only the adorable wind elemental fairy thanked Yi Zichen. 5 boxes of elemental crystals. They were all absorbed into the elemental spirits' bodies. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile as he watched them chew on the elemental crystals. Perhaps this was the feeling of raising a child. Seeing his children happy, as a father, he was also happy. Just you wait. It won't be long before I buy you more advanced elemental crystals. The effects are much better than this. All right. The elemental spirits smiled and responded in unison. All of you go back. If others see you, I might be in trouble. Yi Zichen caressed the wind elemental fairy's face. Then the other elemental fairies all entered his arm. The nurturing of elemental spirits had already begun. This was Yi Zichen's first step in establishing himself in the universe. The only thing he wasn't sure about was, what heights could they grow to? Right now, he could barely maintain their milk powder with the help of the game. In the future, he had to always have the upper hand in the game. Emperor's Star. At that moment, the fire elemental spirit's voice sounded out in Yi Zichen's mind. What is it? I absorbed quite a bit of fire elemental energy recently. I can return some of it to you. Do you need it? Was there even need to ask? I need it. As soon as he said that, Yi Zichen felt a wave of pure fire elemental energy flow from his arm to his limbs and bones. Boom! He broke through. He, who was only at the second level of domain, actually broke through to the third level. You really broke through. The fire elemental spirit smiled. I guess that you would break through just now. Just you wait, I'll absorb a bit more, then I'll return it to you. You're so nice. Hearing the fire elemental spirit's words, Yi Zichen really wanted to hug and kiss it. Over 100,000 universe credits. He finally saw the return. The other elemental spirits should be able to return the favor as well, when they all grow up to the point where they can return the favor. It was the moment Yi Zichen broke through to the star level. Was it hard to cultivate? Sometimes cultivation breakthroughs were just that simple. Yi Zichen shook his head and shrugged on the sofa. His goal was clear. Nurture elemental spirits. Let the elemental spirits return the favor. This was much faster than boring cultivation and absorbing cosmic energy to level up, even though the cost was higher. Your efforts will always be rewarded. After absorbing the fire elemental fairy's nourishment, Yi Zichen felt like his entire body was filled with endless energy. He wanted to immediately log into the game to farm for equipment. Make money. Tap, tap, tap. Bei-in, who had just entered the room, and a few other girls from Shell Planet walked out. Why did you come out? I'm not allowed to play anymore. Bei-in blinked. It's getting late. We have to prepare dinner for you. Not allowed to play? Yi Zichen was stunned. Which novice village are you in? I'm in the beginner's village in the Banao star system. Bei-in pursed her lips, and the other two beauties nodded, indicating that they were also at the beginner village in the Paneo galaxy. What a coincidence! At the same time, Bayu also walked down from the second floor. Bayu, which novice village are you in? I didn't go up. Bayu raised her eyebrows. When I logged in, the game notified me that the game is under maintenance, so I can't log in. Maintenance? It hasn't even been a day since the server started, and it's already maintenance? Easy, easy. Bar's loud voice sounded out once again. Not long later, his chubby body appeared in the mansion. Hello, beauties. Every time she returned, she would greet the beauties of Planet Shell, and she would practically stay at Yi Zichen's place every day. In his words, his place was hell on earth. Easy, you really? Hurry up and play that game. It's too real. It's just like the real world. I'm telling you, you can bribe anything in the game. I gave the blacksmith's part-time worker 50 star coins at the smithy today, and he gave me a piece of blue equipment. Bar's expression was very exaggerated. Come and play. I'll help you level up. I'm already playing. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Bar chuckled. You're still saying you don't want to play? What level? Older brother is a level 14 expert now. Yi Zichen coughed when he saw Bar continuously brag. 24. Chapter 2085. Bar felt like he had a fishbone stuck in his throat while he was boasting. She blushed and glared at Yi Zichen. Bullshit. Ball was the first to enter the game. Even though he did not receive the reward for being in the top 10,000, he was still the first to leave the novice village to level up. He had played a lot of virtual online games. An experienced Taoist. In the absence of a party, reaching level 14 alone was already considered one of the fastest players out of all the others. Yi Zichen said he was level 24. In Bar's beginner's village, the highest level player in the game was only level 22 when he went offline. It was because he had a secret technique. There was another team. He would deal the final blow. Why didn't I see it before? Do you really know how to brag? Bar shook his head, then hugged Yi Zichen's shoulders once again. As expected of my brother. Let me tell you, a few of my friends asked me, and I told them that I was level 20. I didn't expect you to be even more ruthless than me. Level 24. Do you know what level 24 means? What does that mean? The top existence in a game. Level 24. I think he would be in the top 100 in the entire server. Bar made a rough estimate. Only top 100? Yizichin had thought that he would be number 1. Talent. You're really good at using talents. Bar gave a thumbs up. This game has 3,080 universe countries, more than 900,000 galaxies, and the novice village is above 900 trillion. Each novice village has 10 billion players. How many players do you think there are? Immeasurable. Bar frowned solemnly. To be able to enter the top 100 with such numbers, this is already... I don't know how to describe it. Friend, there are venerables and overlords in this game. Top 100. This means that you have been stepped on by the sovereigns and overlords. The whole living room was filled with Bar's amazement. Bayu sat on the sofa with her head tilted, eating snacks as she listened to Bar. Venerables and overlords also play games? Of course, my silly sister. Almost 60% of the human race has entered this game. Bar looked at Bayu. Have you played it? Yi let me play. But just as I was about to play, he defended me. Maintenance is over. Hurry up and go online. Catch up. Bar was like a promotional ambassador for the game. Then, he fumbled around in his pocket. After a while, he took out a blue card from his pocket. There's 500,000 universe credits in here. It's yours. The four eyes were dumbfounded. Bar withdrawing his card was nothing. Yizichin and Bei, you were completely shocked when he said 500,000 universe credits. What are you doing? Crazy. Quick, take it. Bar kept urging, trying to shove the card into Bayu's hand. No, I don't want to. Bayu was frightened. 500,000 universe credits was a terrifying number to her. Why not? Bar frowned. You're already one day behind the others. It'll be hard for you to catch up. You can use this money to buy equipment in the game or find an EXP vehicle. Let them attack while you deal the last hit. That way, you can quickly catch up. I don't want to. Bayu waved her hand forcefully, and Bar frowned even more deeply. It's okay. Take it. No. Bayu shook her head. I'm going back to my room to rest. As soon as she finished speaking, Bayu hurriedly ran to the second floor. Bar looked at her back, gritted his teeth, and let out a deep breath. He looked a little disappointed. That's not how you pick up girls. Yizichin patted Bar's shoulder and pushed the car in front of him. Hurry up and put it away. Who? Bar stuttered, unable to say anything. All right. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? Yizichin twitched his mouth and looked at the card on the table. You actually have the nerve to take out 500,000 universe credits. Is it too little? Bar raised his eyebrows. Too much. Yizichin sighed. If you want to chase after Bayu, then you have to understand her, right? She's from Shell Planet, a slave planet. I don't care. Hey. Oh, I don't care. You spilled the beans, right? Bar instantly blushed, causing Yizichin to stop teasing him. I don't care that Bayu is a slave planet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought her freedom and let her go to school. But you have to consider their situation. For them, even 500,000 universe credits is an astronomical number. How could she accept 500,000 universe credits from you? It was like a rich second generation going after a girl from a poor family. That girl was a strong-willed person. She wouldn't accept this sort of altruistic gift. I know, Bar sighed. That's why I chose to give it to Bayu. Huh? Yizichin didn't quite understand. Actually, I want to chase after her older sister, Bar said softly. Bayin. Bar nodded. I want to treat Bayu better, so that Bayin can look at me better, saving the country in a roundabout way. Smart. Then your method is too much. Neither of the sisters can accept 500,000 universe credits. But friend, since you have so much money, why didn't you give me some? Yizichin asked. You're someone with a gold card. Do you lack that 500,000? Bar rolled his eyes and occasionally peeked at Bayin in the kitchen. Yizichin didn't think that Bar would like Bayin, but he understood after thinking about it. Bayin was mature, more stable. She gave off the feeling of a big sister next door. She treated people gently, smiled every day, and revealed a warm light in her eyes. A young man like Bar, it made sense that he would fall into this kind of gentleness. If he really liked Bayu, then the one who saved the damsel in distress would have been Bar and not Yizichin. Oh yeah, Bar, I want to ask you something. Say it. Does your family sell domain-level slaves? I do, Bar nodded. If you need them, I can give you several thousand. F***CK. It's so good to be friends with a rich second generation. I can give several thousand slaves just like that. Then Yi Zichen saw Bar sitting on the sofa. He should have already logged into the virtual network. Not long later, Bar smiled awkwardly. Is the star level okay? I'll give you some. No domain level? Yi Zichen frowned. No. Bar's face was also filled with confusion. I just contacted the person in charge here. He said that domain level is no longer for sale. Can you tell me the specific reason? Yi Zichen frowned. He was extremely curious about the scarcity of domain level. All sorts of domain level that were looked down upon before suddenly became very popular. The person in charge told me not to say it, but since we're brothers, it's fine to tell you. Bar licked his lips. All of the domain level slaves were kept by the family in preparation to enter the Virtual World Corporation's game. Not only our family, all of the big families that trade slaves, including the slave merchants, all of them. Chapter 2086. So that was how it was. Yi Zichen nodded in his heart when he heard Bar's explanation. But why? The reason Yi Zichen wanted to buy a domain level was because he wanted to go in and farm gold. In the early stages of the game, the exchange rate of in-game currency for real currency was ridiculously high. If a few thousand people were to farm gold, the profits would be huge. If there was an equipment for sale, soon he would be able to recoup the money he spent on the slaves. But that was only to Yi Zichen. He was penniless. That was why they were especially interested in the benefits involved. For slave merchants, they wouldn't go through so much trouble for such a small amount of money. Not to mention Bar's family, the Steele family. He was a big shot in the energy and slavery world. How could they possibly covet such a small profit? You should know, in this universe, most people didn't have enough funds to buy an AI or an anonymous helmet. The number of players in the game now accounted for 60% of the universe. It was only targeted at those who were not from the slave planet and were above the domain realm. Slave planet. It was not included in the list at all. It could be said that the slave planet was not regarded as a part of the human race at all. If all the slave star domain levels entered the game, the number of players would increase by at least several times. Let's not talk about whether the Virtual World Group's games could support such a huge number of players. With such a large number of players entering, even if it was gold farming, it would cause inflation. The value of in-game currency would plummet, and it might even affect the currency in real life, because the in-game currency could be withdrawn into the real world. Yi Zichen was one of the many living beings in the universe. That was all he could see from the game. Those slave masters, big families, allowing a large number of domain masters to enter. Could it be that this game has some unknown secrets? If it wasn't for, it was purely for the sake of farming gold. In fact, it was entirely possible for non-domain level players to enter the game. Wasn't the effect the same? Did the person in charge tell you anything else? Yi Zichen couldn't help but ask. No. Bar shook his head slightly. It was obvious that he really didn't know anything. He was also confused about the large number of domain masters entering the game. One had to know, the Steele family controlled a large number of slaves. There were many domain-level slaves. If all of them entered, it would be a huge expenditure to buy an anonymous helmet. The Virtual World Corporation has sent an email. Bar, who was in the living room, suddenly spoke up. Yi Zichen also connected to the virtual network. He didn't have an AI. There was no way to instantly switch between the virtual world and the real world like Bar could. Bar knew this as well. He had even specifically asked Yi Zichen why he didn't use a photon computer. Yi Zichen brushed it off as well. In response, Bar assumed it was Yi Zichen's family and didn't want to expose his identity. Meeting in the virtual network. Yi Zichen also received an email from the Virtual World Corporation regarding the game update. Dear virtual users, the official website of Second World, produced by the Virtual World Corporation, has officially started operating. Interested players can head to the official website to check out the details. He opened the game's official website. The Second World will start a brand new life for you. The eye-catching title was placed at the top of the official website. What's your background? How's your talent? Have you ever grown tired of the current universe? Have you ever been filled with yearning for the newborn universe? The second world will subvert everything you have and start a new life for you. There are only a few sentences on the homepage of the website. In the middle, click to enter the official website. He didn't do anything. Yi Zichen frowned, then noticed that Bar's body was trembling intensely. He clenched his fists, and his eyes were filled with burning flames. Why are you acting like a Chinibu again? Yi Zichen shrugged, then clicked on the official website. The moment he clicked in, boom, a huge explosion sounded out in Yi Zichen's head, while he stood there like a statue without moving. In this universe, not only him, but the entire universe. Everything happened in that instant. Yi Zichen was stunned. Are you a slave? Bain, who sat in the room and wore an anonymous helmet, looked at the line of words that appeared in front of her in a daze. Were you born as a slave? Baiyu's hands started to tremble. Join us and overturn your current gray life. You should have a colorful future, shouldn't you? Are you from a noble family? Those were the words that appeared in front of Bar after he clicked on the official website. Do you have a huge family background? Are you the pride of your family? Or are you just a dispensable background for your family? Join us and give up everything you have. Use your own hands to fight for what you have. Behind these words, there was a 3-minute-long, explosive video. Every single person who clicked on the official website would see different words. The videos they saw were also different. The same thing was everyone's words and videos could ignite the fire in their hearts. Bar trembled. The video about his family had completely touched his heart. He had always been a dispensable background in the Silton family. He wanted to change everything, but all he felt was a deep sense of helplessness. The promotional video of the Second World's game. It ignited the fire in his heart. Baiyu. She was born as a slave. Her life had been gray since she was young. She couldn't see any hope. If she hadn't met Yi Zichen, her future would have been pitch black. A single sentence, a single line, a single video. This caused the young girl's eyes to redden. She clenched her fists and pursed her lips. The same thing happened in every corner of the universe. Different stories lingered in the eyes of different people. Are you happy? The voice lingered in Yi Zichen's ears. That one sentence pierced straight into the depths of his soul. Are you tired? What are you running for your life for? Revenge? Or are you protecting billions of lives? Are you afraid of the future? Are you afraid of the attention of your enemies? Are you afraid that your own incompetence will cause the planet to become dust in the universe? Are you confused? Join us. Go and reverse your situation and change your life. Go and realize your dreams. Go and punish the evil in your heart. What are you waiting for? Boom. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen's excited gaze turned cold. He silently stared at the words in front of him. As he looked at the video that seemed to have been specially made for him, his eyes flashed with sharpness. He opened his mouth and stared straight ahead. Who is it? Chapter 2087. In a castle in the sky, a cat-eared girl hurriedly walked inside. In the main hall of the castle, there was a fox woman with half her fragrant shoulders exposed. The woman laid on her side on a pure white blanket. She supported her cheek with her right hand, while her eyes were blurry. She exuded an irresistible charm from head to toe. Sire, the cat-eared girl spoke up. The fox woman raised her eyebrows. What is it? Even her voice was extremely alluring. Someone broke through your consciousness, said the girl. The fox woman shrugged. That's nothing. Those sovereigns and overlords aren't all mediocre. It's no big deal to be able to break through my consciousness. No, that person isn't a sovereign or an overlord. Universe country lord? Also not. When did such a genius appear in the titled level? The fox woman squinted her eyes. Investigate which faction he is from. If he is from the Virtual World Corporation or the Universe United Bank, then I can grant him a favor. Sire, he didn't join any faction. Oh, he's only at the domain level. The cat-eared girl bit her lips. The fox woman's hand instantly stiffened, even though it was only for a moment. The cat-eared girl was very clear that her lordship was shocked. There was nothing in this universe that could shock her lordship. When she mentioned that a domain level broke through his consciousness, her lordship was clearly shocked. Not to mention this lordship. The cat-eared girl was completely shocked. After receiving the news, she immediately rushed to the castle in the sky to report the situation. Who? Someone from the Bunau galaxy. I checked his real information. He just joined the Bunau galaxy not long ago. His name is Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen. The fox woman squinted her eyes. Sire, do we need to continue investigating? No need, I know him, the fox woman smiled. Don't let anyone disturb him. Also, send his character's information to me later. You guys don't need to worry about anything else. Understood. With that, the cat-eared girl left the castle. Approximately half an hour later, the cat-eared girl arrived at the Virtual World Corporation. 9 transformations, Overlord. Do we need to investigate this person? Completely seal off all information about him from now on. No one is allowed to investigate him. The cat-eared girl seemed to have changed into a completely different person as she faced the staff in front of her. Just give me his game information. Yes. Bunau Galaxy? In the Virtual World Corporation, a young man sat on a chair, and in front of him stood a middle-aged man with an obsequious smile. I understand. The young man nodded in satisfaction and left with the chip in his hand. The middle-aged man was still bent over with a flattering smile on his face until the young man left. Only then did he exhale deeply. Manager, who is this person? A female employee of the company came to inquire. Don't know what you don't need to know. The middle-aged man snorted. What's that in your hand? Woof woof. This is an order from the headquarters. The staff handed it over, and the manager took it and glanced at it. In an instant, his expression changed drastically. His face was pale, and his entire body was covered in cold sweat. It's over, I'm done for. Manager, I'm finished. Boom, the image shattered. The official website turned into the most ordinary homepage. Soul, interrogation. Everything reached the depths of his soul. Those words and videos weren't made by the Virtual World Corporation at all. Someone was looking into their hearts, seeing through their hearts. As for that video, it was the scene they wanted to see the most in their hearts. Someone must have done it intentionally. Yi Zichen didn't believe that a game could be so intelligent. After a long time, nobody answered Yi Zichen's question. You don't want to talk to me? That's true. It was normal for them to not dare to show themselves after being exposed. Of course, it might also be disdain. Yi Zichen's tiny domain naturally wasn't something that anyone would care about, even though Yi Zichen was very displeased that his heart was being spied on. But he couldn't help but admit, as expected of one of the 8 giants of the Virtual World Corporation, just the method of spying on someone's heart and making a promotional video was enough to tell how strong that person was. After all, at the same time, they were spying on the hearts of countless players in the universe. That was an extremely huge amount of work. Overlord or Sovereign, Yi Zichen was only at the domain level. In his heart, Overlord and Sovereign should be omnipotent. From the looks of it, Bar was still immersed in it. AI. Yi Zichen patted Bar's shoulder. It was better for Bar to wake up earlier. Yi Zichen was worried that something would go wrong if he was seen too much. Bar came back to his senses, then opened his eyes wide. Yeezy, did you see it? I saw it. Bar was rather emotional, causing his grip on Yi Zichen's arm to deform. Can you calm down? Sorry. Bar retracted his hand bitterly. I was too emotional. Do you know what I saw just now? About your family? How did you know? Bar opened his eyes wide. Did you see it too? I guessed randomly. Yi Zichen shrugged. You guessed too accurately. With that, Bar clenched his fist. As soon as Bar's voice fell, he clenched his fists tightly. I just saw. I don't know how to say it. In short, very emotional. Yes, those words and the video. It's like they were made for me. Seriously, I'm going crazy. Bar nodded. How can you always say what I want to say? Maybe I'm smarter. Yi Zichen was able to roughly deduce what Bar saw after understanding the essence of it all. His obsession with his family was very deep. Yi Zichen could tell from their short conversation earlier. Bar had always been in the background, wanting to get his family's approval. What Yi Zichen saw this time was most likely targeted towards that. What did you see? Bar asked. Ah, I became the ruler of the universe. Yi Zichen made up an excuse. It's actually different. Bar was stunned. Then he asked a few of his friends in the virtual network, then frowned. I asked a few just now. I just asked a few people, and everyone's answers are different. It can't be. Suddenly, Bar exclaimed in shock. The Virtual World Corporation created a promotional slogan and video tailored for every player? Just how much work is that? Yeah, Yi Zichen replied. Let's go see what's on the official site. I don't know much about this game. I have to understand it properly. I have to play this game properly. Bar clenched his fist. In less than half a minute, he ran over like a madman and grabbed Yi Zichen's arm. Yi, I know why slave merchants don't sell domain-level slaves. Chapter 2088. Actually, there was no need for Bar to remind him. Yi Zichen also saw what Bar wanted to tell him on the official website. It was about the setting of the novice village. At that moment, the players in the game had not truly entered the universe yet. Take the Milky Way galaxy as an example. The space he was currently in was the level 2 dimension of the Milky Way galaxy. When players reach level 500, they will head to the novice village to accept the hero's trial mission. The mission consumes the heart of the hero. The heart of the hero could be obtained by killing monsters and bosses. The chance of obtaining it for monsters was 1 in 10 million, while the chance of obtaining it for bosses was 1 in 100,000. This was the only way to leave the novice village, which was also the only way to leave the level 2 dimension. If one did not pass the hero's trial, they would remain in the novice village, and their experience would not increase. As for why there were so many domain-level players entering, it might be due to the Virtual World Corporation's map. Those above the domain level would be in the level 2 dimension after entering the game. Those below the domain level would be in the level 3 dimension after entering the game. Players below the domain realm would need to reach level 500 in the game before they could advance to the secondary dimension. In other words, domain level was the lowest requirement to enter the level 2 dimension. It was no different from other players, even if they were overlords or sovereigns. However, those below the domain level would be in the level 3 dimension. The efficiency would be much lower. The Virtual World Corporation's design is rather meticulous. Yi Zichen nodded as he looked at the settings. For the planes. Domain-level people can be counted as universe citizens, so everyone gets the same treatment. If those below the domain realm were to enter the same realm, whether it be the circulation of currency or other aspects, it would have a huge impact. Bayu, they can't be with us anymore. Bar sighed silently. None of the beauties of Planet Hello, including Bayu, had reached the domain level. In other words, the planes they were in were all level 3. Bar wanted to interact with Bayin more in the game, since they might have some sparks. Yi Zichen looked at the settings of the Virtual World Corporation. His plan would have to be delayed. It's just level 500. They can level up in half a year at most. When we truly enter the universe, we can still play together. Yi Zichen smiled. That's true. Half a year was too short for them. The lifespan of a domain state was over 10,000 years. The lifespan of a star state was over 1 million years, and the lifespan of a cosmic system state was over 100 million years. Universe level, it could almost be called eternal. Half a year. It was really short. Levels and equipment were also announced on the official site. Mortal, domain, stardust, star system, universe. White, blue, gold, dark gold, purple, red. He continued scrolling down. Really? Yi Zichen stared at the official website. He finally understood why so many overlords and venerable ones had entered the game. Elemental spirits. This game could actually drop elemental spirits. There was also a pile of unknown materials in the back, among which Yi Zichen saw 3 that Bai Feng needed. Any wild monster, including bosses, had a chance to obtain it. Boss drop rate, 1 in a trillion. Wild monsters had a 1,000 times lower drop rate than bosses. This probability could be regarded as 0. The drop rate for elemental spirits was even lower. Boom! In a palace, a wooden table was shattered. Several tens of people stood in front of the palace. They did not even dare to breathe heavily in the face of the anger of the person on top. Is the Virtual World Corporation messing with us? The elemental spirits were actually not placed in the universe secret realm. They were actually placed in the wild monsters in the game. Did they do it on purpose? The person on top could not see his face clearly, but he could clearly feel his anger from his words. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. His angry roar echoed throughout the palace. Did the people I sent to the Virtual World Corporation return? They returned, the person below replied. Not long later, a middle-aged man walked in from outside. Master, what did she say? She didn't see me. The middle-aged man lowered his head. I only saw the 9 transformations, Overlord. She said, the purpose of this game is to allow all living beings in the universe to enjoy fair treatment. Everyone has the chance to obtain precious resources. Their corporation placing elemental spirits in the game for all living beings to obtain is already their greatest kindness. No one is allowed to interfere with the normal operation of the game. Bullshit. The person on top of the palace clenched his teeth. At this moment, a fragrant smell suddenly appeared in the palace. Everyone in the palace had dazed gazes. Only the person on top of the palace was filled with anger. Who? Are you unhappy with my decision? A tempting voice appeared in the palace. This is all my decision. If you are unhappy, then come find me in my palace. I have been here for billions of years. Come find me face to face. Gulp. The person on top of the palace suddenly swallowed his saliva. I don't dare. Since you don't dare, then don't speak so much, understand? Understood. This strand of wool has used up quite a bit of my energy. I heard that you had 1,000 light fruit a while ago. Send someone to bring it to me to recover my energy. Yes. The person on top of the palace was trembling violently, following which a sneer was left in the palace before it disappeared. The person on top of the palace felt like he had been pardoned. He sat paralyzed on his chair. The other people in the palace were also at a loss. Inform all the clansmen that the game update has ended. Everyone is to enter the game. After a while, the person on top of the palace spoke. Master, the people below were shocked. If all the clansmen of the universe enter, how will the universe function? We still need people to guard the battlefield outside the city. We'll enter when I say so. The person on top of the palace said angrily. My clone will guard the battlefield outside the city. Everyone else enter the game. I will not be satisfied if I don't obtain the dark fairies. Oh yeah, send me the 1,000 light fruit. Send 2 sovereigns to send it to the sky garden. All of a sudden, everyone in the palace was shocked. 1,000 light fruit. The fruit that all light controllers dreamed of. He Gemin. Stop talking. Hurry up and arrange it. The person on top of the palace let out a deep sigh, then turned into a black shadow and left the palace. The other people in the palace looked at each other. They all understood. It seems like that lord has come. Easy, our time has come. Bar gulped when he saw the introduction on the official website, then looked at Yi Zichen with shining eyes. Elemental spirits. Cosmos Godstones. All of these treasures that even sovereigns and sovereigns couldn't ignore could be obtained in the game. All of this meant one thing. The universe. The cards were going to be reshuffled. Chapter 2089. How long had the universe been around? No one could give an accurate answer. Humanity's prosperity. Even the outsiders didn't dare attack recklessly. Humanity and the outsiders gradually reached a state of mutual understanding. Even though the outsiders were still waiting for an opportunity to assassinate humanity's elites. The outsiders' battlefields were still in chaos. But the human race had already reached a state of peace. Endless years passed. Countless family clans rose up one after another. The universe's resources were divided among the various clans and factions. Just like Yi Zichen's Earth, the rich always got rich. The poor always got poor. It was difficult for a poor family to produce a noble son. It wasn't that no one else in the universe had a chance to make a name for themselves. But still, there were very few of them, and it was extremely difficult. The Virtual World Corporation's actions. By putting countless resources into the second world, anyone would have the possibility to obtain these resources. Of course, the The Virtual World Corporation couldn't achieve absolute fairness. For example, Air could throw a huge amount of money into the game to obtain benefits. As such, his starting point would be much faster than the average players. But there was nothing he could do about it. Some are born as slaves, some are born as nobles. Some were born as geniuses, some never even peered into the universe. First-class passengers could register in advance. VIPs didn't have to wait in line. Concert tickets were the most expensive, but they also had the best seats. This world wasn't fair to begin with. It was this unfairness and uniqueness that spurred people to work even harder to improve. Only then could the world develop. Only then could the human universe maintain an unshakable position among the outsiders. The Virtual World Corporation was already doing its best. Everyone was at the same starting point. As for the rest, players had to fight for it themselves. Yeezy, why do you think the Virtual World Corporation is doing this? Countless people yearn for these resources, but they're putting them all into the game? Baer exclaimed, then looked confused. Who knows? The decisions of the upper echelons of humanity weren't something Yi Zichen and the others, who just reached the domain realm, could fathom. I really want to get into the game right now. Baer was excited. If I can get an elemental fairy or a cosmos godstone, I'll definitely have a place in the universe. Who knows, I might even become the ruler of a universe country, or even a supreme. Why not an overlord? An overlord? Baer pursed his lips and scratched his head. An overlord is too high. I don't even dare think about it. Haha, there's no harm in thinking about it. Yi Zichen patted Baer's shoulders, then continued to browse the official website. The Virtual World Corporation had already given everyone too much of a shock. Even though the subsequent announcements were still somewhat shocking, they were not too surprised. At the back of the web page, Yi Zichen found a sign-up channel for a faction. Baer, take a look at the back of the web page. What's the faction registration channel for? You still don't know? Baer raised his eyebrows. It's to establish a force. Gangs, families, mercenaries, they all need to apply here. After applying, you can invite others to join. When you enter the game, there will be an icon behind your character. The initial bonus is 1% EXP. If you occupy a city or something else, additional stats will be provided. I see. Yi Zichen nodded. I'm not too sure either. What I said just now was based on my previous gaming experience. This game from the Virtual World Corporation is a little special. I'm not sure what it'll be like once it's established, but I don't think there's any harm in establishing an organization or joining it. Baer added, establishing power. Yichen clicked on it and entered a secondary page. When he entered, quite a few factions had already been established. If the number represented the number, then there were already more than 7 million factions. I'll give it a try. There's no harm in it anyway. Yi Zichen chuckled, then clicked on, I want to establish a faction. Ding. Hello, respected virtual network user. The system has detected that you are Yi Zichen of the Paneo star system. Your game account is bound to the future. Would you like to establish a faction with your current identity? Yes. Please enter a name. The Virtual World Corporation wanted to expand to the current universe. The future of the universe would be thrown into chaos. Chaos. To Yi Zichen, it was inextricably linked. Back in the God Realm, he'd established the Upheaval Alliance. I hope it'll be a good continuation. Yi Zichen chuckled. In the name, he belonged to the Upheaval Alliance. Ding. Establishment successful. You can use your authority to invite others to join. You can also accept or reject applications. Upheaval Alliance, 1 star, current member. Future member, alone commander. Yi Zichen laughed, then gestured at Baer. I just established a faction. Do you want to join the fun? I wanted to, but the Steele family has established their own organization, and I've already been dragged in. Baer pursed his lips. I really don't want to stay here. Huh, could it be that your brother is also here? For Baer to be so dejected, it was most likely because he saw Bard among the members. Yes, you're still a manager, but I'm an ordinary member. Ball lowered his head in jealousy. We're both sons of the clan leader, but I'm a city guard and he's a manager. I don't have the face to stay in the clan anymore. For such a big family, with a genius in the same generation, the pressure on the other direct descendants was indeed not small. Not to mention Bard was his blood brother, and the rest of the clan would naturally compare the two of them. He patted Bale's shoulder to comfort him. No one could say anything about this. Ball cannot join. Yi Zichen looked at his friends in the virtual network. Black-based slave trader. This guy didn't even need to think about it. Bayu, she could invite her, and Yi Zichen believed that the girl would definitely agree. After that was by phone. Invite her to try? Yi Zichen licked his lips. Are you there? What is it? By phone instantly replied. I established a faction in the game. I heard that you'll get experience bonus if you join. Do you want to join? Within a palace, the girl looked at the news on the network. She rested her chin on her hands and pouted, while her bright eyes darted around. After a moment of hesitation, the girl clicked on the official website of the Second World. In the faction interface, Spirit Phoenix Palace, 9 diamonds, she logged out. The moment she logged out, the Spirit Phoenix Palace went from 9 diamonds to 3 diamonds. Sire, the young man beside the girl in the palace revealed a look of terror. You'll manage the Spirit Phoenix Palace from now on. I don't understand games, and you still want me to be the clan leader. A friend invited me over just now, so I won't be playing with you guys. The girl looked at the young man with a smile, then clicked on the network. Sure. Chapter 2090. Pen? Fun. Wonderful, free pop-up window. You have a new email. Please check it. As Zichen waited for White Phoenix's reply, he received an email from the Virtual World Corporation. Check the details. Someone has applied to join the Upheaval Alliance. What's going on? After setting up the Upheaval Alliance, Yi Zichen's personal system had a verification interface. He logged in. Someone had indeed applied. Little Tanuki has applied to join the Upheaval Alliance. When he saw the request, Yi Zichen was dumbfounded. Where had this person come from? He didn't have anyone with that name on his list of friends. At that moment, Yi Zichen received a friend request. Confirm. Hello, may I ask if you're the founder of the Upheaval Alliance? You are. I'm applying to join, Little Tanuki. I really like the name Upheaval Alliance. Can I join? Was that even possible? Millions of factions had seen the Upheaval Alliance and liked its name. What a coincidence. In any case, there weren't many people in the early stages. Agreeing wasn't a big deal. Sure. With that, Yi Zichen clicked confirm. Little Tanuki has joined the Upheaval Alliance. After this notification, Yi Zichen's Upheaval Alliance was no longer a lone general. Upheaval Alliance, 9 diamonds, future, founder, Little Tanuki member. Yi Zichen didn't pay much attention to the Upheaval Alliance's rank. It had 9 white diamonds. He didn't know much about it, so he didn't take it seriously at all. Where are you playing? I'm in a newbie village in the Kaming Galaxy. Oh, woo. Kaming Galaxy? He'd never heard of it. Never mind someone like Yi Zichen, who just entered the universe. Even a hegemon might not be able to remember all the galaxies in the universe. Work hard to level up. Let's meet in the universe. All right, add me as a friend when you log in. If there's anything you want to say, we can talk in a game. All right. Ding. By phone received a reply from Yi Zichen. A friend is looking for me. Let's chat later. All right. Little Tanuki's reply had always been very simple. They were strangers to begin with, and the only reason they knew each other was because the other party had taken a fancy to the name. Yi Zichen didn't want to interact too much, so he clicked open. All right, you finally replied. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. You know what to say when I pull you in, right? I know. After that, Yi Zichen sent by phone an invitation. 100 Phoenixes have joined the Upheaval Alliance. After 100 Phoenix joined, the ranks of the Upheaval Alliance changed yet again. The 9 blue diamonds turned into a single color diamond. Someone has already joined? By phone saw the Upheaval Alliance members as well. Yi Zichen nodded. While I was waiting for your reply, someone I don't know applied. All right. By phone didn't seem to care much about these things. I can't talk to you anymore. I have other things to do. Let's go fight the boss when we can log into the game. Yi replied with an okay gesture. Little did they know, in just a few short minutes, the entire universe fell into a state of panic. On the list of factions in the Second World. Faction grades: Morningstar, Black Hole, Universe, White Diamond, Rainbow Diamond. Each level had 9 levels. This proved the strength of their forces. The difference in strength wasn't based on the in-game strength, but based on the realms in reality. Under normal circumstances, each faction had a ruler, who was a universe level. They had a supreme, who was a white diamond. They had a hegemon, who was a 3 white diamond. But that was only under normal circumstances. If you were strong enough, your faction's level would rise as well. 10 minutes ago, among the millions of factions, there were a total of 14 9-diamond factions. Every single one of them had millions or even tens of millions of members. In truth, when everyone saw the names of these factions, they all understood. Because these factions, they were all extremely famous in the real universe, and each of them had a hegemon-level expert in their ranks. Moreover, he was a well-known figure among hegemons. Below the hegemon level, there were quite a few sovereigns. All in all, it made sense for them to be 9-diamond. Yet, just now, the Upheaval Alliance had suddenly appeared on the list. 9 diamonds. They were number 1. In less than 30 seconds, the Upheaval Alliance had become the only Rainbow Diamond faction in the entire universe. Even more terrifying, they had 3 members. In other words, based on the virtual world's combat strength, the 3 members of the Upheaval Alliance were comparable to millions or even tens of millions of people, and they were hegemon-level factions. No, they were even stronger. Just who are they? The same question echoed through countless people's minds. 3 people's combat strength was enough to make a faction a Rainbow Diamond faction. Hegemons. And they had to be at the very, very top of the heap. Only 3 peak-level hegemons could do this. This sort of situation was practically unheard of in the universe. Many hegemons worked for the Virtual World Corporation, the Universal Union Bank, or other giants. But they all had their own clans. When establishing a faction, they'd choose to oversee it and build support for it. That way, they'd attract even more geniuses. 3 peak-level hegemons had appeared in the same faction at the same time. It didn't matter if they were domain level, star level, cosmic level, or universe level. Anyone who was free, the same thought popped into their heads. Apply to join. If they could come into contact with 3 peak-level hegemons, it would be like defying the heavens and changing their fates. Ball, don't worry about it. Yizichin noticed that Ball was still in a state of depression. He was just about to say something to comfort him. Ding, ding, ding. His inbox was full. Remember, in a virtual world, a mailbox could hold 100,000 emails. In less than a second, it was full. Yizichin froze. He opened his inbox. They were all applications to join the Upheaval Alliance. How could there be so many? He clicked on the back end and saw a long line of applicants. Yizichin was dazzled. They were all rejected. In the blink of an eye, another flood of applications flooded in. What's going on? Yizichin frowned and opened the official website. Only then did he realize that the Upheaval Alliance stood at the very top of the leaderboards. What the hell is going on? They'd hidden their rankings and rejected everyone's applications. All in one go. They disappeared. They searched. They didn't exist. Clearly, they'd been hidden. The players all over the universe sighed. When they saw the rejection notification, they silently shook their heads. It seemed that joining a faction with 3 peak-level hegemons was just wishful thinking. Even so, the short-lived Upheaval Alliance had left a deep impression on the hearts of every player in the universe. Anyone who'd ever seen the Upheaval Alliance etched its name deeply into their minds. Whether it was a 7-star, 8-star, or 9-star, they'd remember every single one of them, and they'd notify their friends. There was one faction in the game that players absolutely couldn't afford to provoke. That was the Upheaval Alliance. Chapter 2091. Remember in 1 second, pin divided by, fun wonderful pop-up window, free reading. They had 3 apex overlords. Anyone who could join the Upheaval Alliance could do whatever they wanted in the entire game. Anyone who didn't want to die, they most likely wouldn't provoke the Upheaval Alliance. What happened? Ball frowned. He had wanted to take the opportunity while Yizichin was comforting him to tell him everything. Unexpectedly, as soon as this guy said that, his gaze turned solemn. He did not speak for a long time. Don't mention it. Yizichin waved his hand and didn't say anything else. All right, Everyone had things they couldn't tell others. From Yi Zichen's expression, it seemed to be something troubling him. Bar didn't pursue the matter. Coincidentally, news came from his family. He glanced at it, then said to Yi Zichen, "Yi Z, a friendly reminder. If you run into anyone from the Upheaval Alliance in the game, under no circumstances should you provoke them." Yi Zichen was confused. The Upheaval Alliance, wasn't he the one who established it? What are you yapping about? My family just sent word that if we ever run into any members of the Upheaval Alliance, we shouldn't get into conflict with them. If possible, we should try our best to befriend them. Bar solemnly repeated the message he received. Remember, even my family doesn't dare to mess with them. Your family didn't send you any messages? No. Mother Asterisk Kerr, I knew it. Your backer must be stronger than me. Bar suddenly started cursing. Domain level, you have a gold card. Tell me, whose family are you from? Bar's thinking was very simple. Since the family had warned them, it meant the Upheaval Alliance was a faction they didn't dare provoke, or at least didn't want to. Yi Zichen did not receive it. That meant his family didn't care about the Upheaval Alliance at all. In comparison, Yi Zichen's backer. Naturally, they had to surpass the Steel Clan. Yi Zichen was confused. He was really confused. I forget it. Seeing Yi Zichen's hesitation, Bar knew that it wasn't convenient for him to say it. He was not the kind of person who liked to get to the bottom of things. He did not make friends based on Yezi's background. Yi Zichen didn't say anything for a long time. After a long while, he let out a sigh and asked, "Why is your family talking about this?" "How would I know?" Bar spread his hands. "You're asking me all this? I'm not in charge of the family, so how could I know all this? Bart might know that I'm a member." "Yes." Ball began again. Yi Zichen listened to Bale's complaints and complaints practically every day. Moreover, it was repeated every day. He was about to memorize it. "All right, we have the second world. Didn't you say it yourself? We'll be invincible as long as we have God stones." "Yes." A fire burned in Bar's heart. "I'm relying on this game to change my fate." Not long after, Bar's expression became bitter again. "Yi Z, it's time for me to go to a private lesson. I'll contact you after class. If the game is already online by the time I'm done, contact me in-game. My character name is Bar the Invincible." With that, Bar left the virtual network. Yi Zichen left as well, then watched as Ball hurriedly dashed out. Private training class. He had heard Ball mention it before. The teacher that the Steele family had hired for him was similar to a tutor on Earth. Teach by example and by word. What's worse was that according to Bar, the worst teacher was at least a warlord. Bar had invited Yi Zichen to listen with him. Yi Zichen declined politely. He really wanted to listen, but this was a teacher that the Steele family had specially prepared for Bar. It was better for him not to go. It might not be suitable for him, even if he did. What's more, he had to be a descendant of a large family. Private teachers were all at the warlord level. He clearly had resources that others could only dream of, yet he was still complaining about his misfortune. In order to stay away from his family, he had intentionally come to this planet. Even so, the family still provided him with resources that a direct descendant should have. It was rather infuriating just thinking about it. Yi Zichen, who was sitting in the living room, silently looked outside. I wonder, what about the great sage and the others? Yi Zichen had added them as friends in the virtual network before leaving Earth. Anonymous helmets could be used to bind their identities in the universe. They could also not be bound. If they were not bound, then they would be visitors. All of their online information was provided by anonymous helmets. They could be added as friends, but they would disappear after 100 years. The Great Sage and the others had a long list of account names that were always black. Come to think of it, they were also working hard to reach the domain level. How troublesome. The Sanyua Galaxy is truly a scourge. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and frowned. Because of the Sanyua Galaxy, Yi Zichen had no way of exposing the Milky Way's coordinates. That meant he couldn't use Cosmic Express delivery. He couldn't transport cultivation resources to the Great Sage and the others in time. He had to go back himself. Going back and forth would take a lot of time. I'll have to wait for the slaves to arrive. Once the slaves arrived, Yi Zichen could send them back to transport resources to the Great Sage and the others, while also guarding the Milky Way and ensuring its safety. Since they were slaves, Yi Zichen wasn't worried about them betraying him. If they had even the slightest intention of betrayal, Yi Zichen, who held their slave imprints, could directly kill them. Big Brother Beiyu, who was on the second floor, shouted, "What is it? I can enter the game, but I've never played it before, so I don't really know how to play." Beiyu bit her lips. She didn't want to trouble Yi Zichen, but the game was too complicated. However, the controls of the game were too complicated for her to understand. Character name, Beiyu 0749. Yi Zichen could roughly guess the character name. There was definitely someone with that name in the game, and the system added a number behind it. Go online, say it in the game, I'll tell you how to play. Oh yeah, the friends in the game are at the bottom left corner. Pay attention to my request. Okay, Beiyu nodded, then suddenly ran down with her helmet and sat beside Yi Zichen. What are you doing? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. I want to play next to Yi Ji. Beiyu giggled. Yi Zichen caressed her head. Let's play. At the same time, this is the target you need to deal with this time. A cocky young man held a chip in his hand at the docking port of the planet. Yi Zichen, Blue River Planet. Deal with him. I'll pay you the rest of the commission. Understood. The black-faced tiger man smiled, then held the chip in his hand. Please wait for our good news. Then, the black-faced man followed his subordinates into the spaceship behind. He entered the coordinates of Blue River Planet. Target location, Blue River Planet. Estimated time to arrive is 114 days. The spaceship is about to take off. 10, 9. The young man below silently watched the spaceship leave the docking port, then revealed a cruel smile. Fighting me? You're seeking death. Chapter 2092. He entered the game. Less than 2 minutes after the relaunch of the game, a large number of players could be seen in the novice village. He checked his status bar. Under the character's status, there was a new icon for a flame. This was the logo Yi Zichen chose when he created the Upheaval Alliance. Upheaval Alliance. Experience gain increased by 20%. So high. If you remember correctly, Bar had said that it would increase the amount of experience gained by 1%. In short, there was no harm in it. Yi Zichen hid the icon, then clicked on Add. It didn't take long for Beiyu to pass. Yi Ji, Level 1. Beiyu had just created her character and was still at Level 1. I'm inviting you to join the Upheaval Alliance. The Upheaval Alliance gave them a 20% experience bonus. If Beiyu joined them, they'd level up faster. Inviting Beiyu. Thus, Yi Zichen told her about the simple controls of the game. Actually, he was just explaining the functions of the game to her. After that, Beiyu left the novice village and began to steal kills from other players. As for the game, you'll get it after playing around. Ding! Little Tanuki has sent you a friend request. Members of the Upheaval Alliance. Yi Zichen didn't think too much about it and clicked Confirm. Confirm. When Little Tanuki appeared on his friend list, Yi Zichen was very surprised. Little Tanuki was actually only Level 1. Alliance Master. Little Tanuki's avatar flashed and sent a message. Have you just started playing games? Yes. Work hard to level up. Try to leave the novice village as soon as possible. We'll meet again. All right. After Yi Zichen ended his private chat with Ali, he stayed in the novice village for a while longer. According to his observations, most of the players in the novice village were around level 10. Bribes could be seen everywhere, or female players using their beauty to get quests out of the hands of NPCs. Baifeng's portrait was still gray. This meant that she hadn't logged into the game yet. She was the one who provided the clues to the boss. Without her, it would have been impossible to kill the boss. Brave warrior. Just as Yi Zichen was strolling around the novice village, an NPC suddenly popped out and started a conversation with him. The NPC's clothes were ragged. His face was thin and bony. Atana the beggar. LV 200's level was actually so high. Yi Zichen naturally wouldn't ignore an NPC that took the initiative to talk to him. Hello, warrior. I haven't eaten for 3 days. Can you give me some money to buy some food? Begging? Could it be a prerequisite for triggering a mission? Without saying anything else, Yi Zichen took out 50 star coins from his pouch and prepared to give it to the beggar. Are you trying to chase away a beggar? The beggar was enraged. Yi Zichen, who was clutching the star coin, froze as well. Too little? 50 star coins. He had to hunt a lot of pheasants. He frowned. Yi Zichen reached his hand into his pocket again. 500. The beggar glanced at him with a look of disdain. He glanced at Yi Zichen's money pouch from time to time, as if he was saying, I know you have money. Give me more. Greedy bastard. Yi Zichen cursed in his heart, then steeled his heart and took out 5 galaxy credits from his pocket. That was 50,000 star coins. The beggar was still frowning. Seeing that, Yi Zichen directly took back the money. Take it or leave it. When the beggar put the money back in his pocket, he suddenly bumped into Yi Zichen, then spat at Yi Zichen before swaggering away. Ding! You were attacked by a pickpocket. Your money was stolen. Stolen amount, 79 galaxy credits, 3,378 star coins. F*CK. This beggar stole money. Stop right there. Yi Zichen rushed out with his sword in hand. Hearing that, the beggar also hurriedly ran out. Move. Yi Zichen immediately chased after the beggar after knocking away all the players in the village. F*CK. He stole Laozi's money. All the players in the novice village stared at Yi Zichen as he chased after the beggar. Not long later, F*CK, that thief. Some players recognized the beggar. From the looks of it, there were also players that had been patronized by the beggar. The novice village wasn't large. This pickpocket was much more familiar with the village than the players. After going around a few times, Yi Zichen could no longer find the location of the pickpocket. F*CK. The other players also waved their fists in annoyance. From the looks of it, there were at least 100 of them. I've never had my money stolen by a pickpocket in my life. I didn't expect to encounter it in the game. Yi Zichen looked at the disappearing pickpocket. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and let out a deep sigh. The amount of money that was stolen wasn't much. However, it greatly affected his mood. Ding! Yi Zichen received a private message from White Phoenix. What are you doing? Nothing much. What? Are you going to continue fighting the boss? Yi Zichen treated the money just now as his tuition fee. I have to be careful when I meet NPCs in the future. The NPCs in this game might not all be decent people. Nope, White Phoenix replied. My subordinates didn't find the boss's coordinates. All right. Yi Zichen wasn't surprised by that reply. He can't kill bosses 24 hours a day. Oh yeah, I have to tell you something. White Phoenix suddenly sent another message. You're in Blue River Planet in the Boros system, right? Yes. It's like this, White Phoenix replied. Didn't you tell me to enjoy the game? I decided to play this game properly from now on. Sure, if White Phoenix played properly, then Yi Zichen would be able to work for a long time. That's right. He would never get tired of being a worker. So, prepare a place for me. I'll go to Blue River Planet to find you. That way, it'll be more convenient for us to play the game. White Phoenix was coming. What's wrong? I think it'll be more convenient this way. It'll also make communication easier. How long will it take? About half a year or so. I'm really too far away from your place. White Phoenix's words triggered an idea in Yi Zichen. His office. Now that he'd established the Upheaval Alliance and had a few members, it was more like an office. The early stages. If the members of the Upheaval Alliance could get together, the atmosphere would be better. All right, come. All right, I'll go prepare now. With that, White Phoenix's avatar turned gray once more. Get ready. I'm heading to Blue River Planet in the Boros system. The moment she left the virtual network, the youth by her side was dumbfounded. Your Excellency, hurry up and get ready. I'm going to Blue River Planet. The girl frowned. The Society of Supremes hasn't approved it yet. That's none of my business. I've already submitted my application. They can decide if they want to approve it or not. The girl rolled her eyes. Hurry up and get ready. I'm sick of this place. I want to go out and relax. All right. The youth smiled bitterly, then looked at the girl's back and sighed. Just what is Your Excellency up to? Chapter 2093. The leveling team is missing one player. Don't log off until you're level 30. The leveling team is lacking a big sister. For tall and mighty damage dealers. We're waiting for a big sister. You don't have to kill monsters, just be an EXP baby. Is there anyone who wants to form a team to farm gold? Pull me in. Recruiting. The more family, a 4-star family, recruiting active online players. In front of the city gate, many players were shouting. There were also many people who had already left in groups. Without White Phoenix's boss, all Yizichin could do was go out and level up. He wanted to buy some blue equipment and sell them for a bit of money. He could also level up at the same time. Boss level instance dungeon quest can be shared. Send a strong damage dealer. Quest completion has a 30% chance of obtaining a hero's heart. The damage dealer will have priority in choosing the boss drops. Also, 1,000 universe credits will be provided as commission. The shouts from the city gates attracted Yizichin's attention. Instance dungeon quest. What's the 30% chance of getting the heart of the brave? Yizichin and Baifeng had already fought 10 bosses, but they still hadn't seen the heart of the hero. Such a tool was extremely rare. If one's luck was bad, it might not even drop after reaching level 500. At that time, they would either have to risk their lives to kill monsters and bosses and try their luck to get a piece of equipment. Otherwise, he would have to collect it. This was a must-have item to leave the beginner village, and the number of people who needed it was definitely not small. The price would definitely be ridiculously high. Collect it must be those powerful families. Players like Yizichin, who had to rely on the game to earn money every day, could only fight with their own hands. Perhaps he was lucky enough to get a few. It could even be sold for a good price. He wanted to buy higher-grade milk powder for the elemental elves. The person who shouted was a young boy. From his appearance alone, Yizichin felt like he was underage. Becoming a domain master at such a young age, he believed that his talent in real life was definitely not bad. As he shouted, a large number of players gathered around him. Unsurprisingly, they were all here for the heart of the brave. A commission of 1,000 universe credits was not considered much. Yizichin really wanted to try. This was his secret method. If he teamed up with others, he would definitely be noticed. He was still very hesitant. How many people can you share the mission with? Just then, a few players appeared in front of the young man. Their tone was impolite. Overlord Alliance. Yizichin couldn't help but smile when he saw Hegemon's way. He bumped into it again. 5 people can be shared. The young man answered honestly. We already have 4 people. We're just lacking a strong attacker. If you're willing to come, we can give you 1,000 universe credits. Suddenly, Hegemon's way couldn't hold back his laughter. 1,000 universe dollars, I'm gonna die of laughter. How about this? We'll provide 2 damage dealers. If you give me an extra spot, I'll give you 50,000 universe credits. The young man shook his head. No, we only have 1 seat. Kid, don't be so tactless. Overlord Mike grabbed the young man's shirt when he heard the young man's rejection. Don't be so shameless. Have you heard of our Overlord Alliance? I don't know. The youngster shook his head without changing his expression. Interesting. Overlord Mike smiled and cracked his neck. Then I'll let you know now. As soon as he finished his sentence, Overlord Mike shouted at the crowd. No one is allowed to team up with him. Anyone who dares to do so will be making an enemy out of Overlord Alliance. The players who gathered around the teenager retreated like the tide. The Overlord's face was filled with arrogance as he looked at the young man before him. See, this is Overlord Alliance. If I say no, who dares to? You want damage dealers, right? Do you think I can do it? The dazzling golden light caused quite a few players to look over. Yizichin, with the dazzling title of number 1 on the heaven leaderboard, slowly walked in front of the young man. I'm very interested. Can you take me with you? Future, the young man nodded. Of course. If even you can't do it, then no one else in the newbie village can. Then, Yizichin received a friend request. Flame Rat LV16. Its level is pretty high. Future. Overlord Might's gaze darkened. Yizichin looked back at him. Overlord Might. This seems to be the first time we've met. You put a bounty on me right after the game started. I've always wanted to get to know you. How about we get a friend? Yizichin smiled. Didn't you want to put a bounty on me? That's so troublesome. If you want to kill me in the future, I'll just send you my coordinates and you can get your people to come. Look, the number 1 on the leaderboard, Future, is fighting with Overlord Alliance's Overlord Might. The 2 of them have a personal grudge. It's normal for them to fight, right? Haha. Future Great God is domineering. If you want to add him as a friend, send him his coordinates. Even if Overlord might shows off, they definitely wouldn't dare to go. Definitely, future Great God got 10 first kills, he's number 1, and his equipment is definitely the best. Who would dare to kill him? Whoever goes will die. The players discussed amongst themselves. Yi Zichen smiled at Overlord Might, whose face was as black as steel. How about it? Say something? Didn't you want to put a bounty on me? Giving me money for information is just a waste of money. How about you give me the money, and I'll give you my coordinates? The coordinates I give are definitely real. There's nothing fake about it. What do you think? Overlord Might's expression changed drastically. He clenched his fists. His eyes darkened. After a long while, he smiled and nodded towards Yi Zichen. You're ruthless. How can I be as ruthless as Overlord Might? I haven't even met you, yet you want to put a bounty on me. I'm just sitting at home, and the blame falls from the sky. Yi Zichen shrugged. Don't be too cocky. You won't be able to jump around for much longer. Overlord Might looked at Yi Zichen coldly. I hope we can meet again in the future. When that happens, you can still be as cocky as before. With that, Overlord Might left with his subordinates. Yi Zichen looked at Overlord Might's back. Although he sounded like he was just saying something threatening, Yi Zichen felt like there was more to his words. That person is so annoying. After Overlord Might left, the young man also tidied up his clothes with a displeased gaze. Yeah, very annoying, Yi Zichen nodded. Even if the bounty wasn't there, Yi Zichen still didn't like Overlord Might. This person, his words and actions were filled with a disgusting aura. It was clear that he didn't receive any proper education and was just relying on his background to get arrogant. People like him. He needed to be taught a lesson. If he met a ruthless person and taught him a good lesson, he would be well-behaved. Flame Rat, can you share the mission with me now? Yi Zichen reminded the rat. I nearly forgot. Wait a moment. Then, the Flame Rat pulled Yi Zichen into the team. Ding. You received the Flame Rat's shared mission, Path to the Hero. Difficulty, B rank. Chapter 2094. According to the official website, the difficulty of the mission started from A rank. The mission shared by the Flame Rat was B rank, which meant that there was a certain degree of difficulty. When they entered the group, there were already 4 members in the team, including the Flame Rat. Wow! The moment Yi Zichen joined, a Loli's voice sounded out in the group voice chat. In the future, he'll be number 1 on the leaderboard. I'm not dreaming, right, little mouse? You actually found such a god to join you? Could it be that you've carried out some sort of dirty, shady deal? The girl with the Loli-like voice was a little rotten. Looking at the voice tag in the party, her character name was Meng Luo, and she was a little lowly. Level 16-inch Meng Luo, don't call me a little mouse. The Flame Rat shouted angrily. The little lowly giggled. If it's not, then it's not. Why are you so flustered and exasperated? Did I poke at your sore spot or step on your tail? All right, Meng Luo. A mature female voice appeared in the party voice chat. Hua Jianro, level 17 was enough to enter the top 100 on the leaderboard. Future Great God, welcome to our team. The woman's voice was gentle and elegant, with a hint of intellectual feeling. Guru, you're not talking. Dream lowly muttered in the voice chat again. Hello. Yi Zichen turned on the team voice chat and said something. Wow, the god is talking to me. Meng Luo shouted excitedly like a child who hadn't grown up. Almighty, which galaxy are you in? Do you have a girlfriend? What do you think of me? All right, let's not disturb the future god. While Meng Luo was chattering away, Hua Jianro spoke. Flame Rat, hurry up and bring the future Almighty here. We don't have much time left. Understood. With that, the Flame Rat looked towards Yi Zichen. Great God, follow me. After leaving the novice village, the Flame Rat and Yi Zichen headed west, passing through the territories of plenty of wild monsters. On the way, quite a number of wild monsters even attacked them. They were all insta-killed by Yi Zichen. Level 24. A full set of gold armor. Fighting some level 10 or so wild monsters was just too easy. He picked up the white equipment and star coins dropped by the monsters on the ground. A fly's leg is also meat. Many a little makes an ocean. Leveling with the Almighty is so comfortable. The Flame Rat had also gotten an EXP boost. If it had been their team, they would have needed 4 people to work together to kill these monsters. Level lead, equipment crush. That was great. Ezichin smiled, but didn't say anything. Actually, he didn't kill many of them. He just happened to bump into some and killed some along the way. The flame rat did not gain much experience either. In the team voice chat just now, what did he mean by time is running out? Do you have something to do? Or, the mission has a time limit. The flame rat explained with a smile. You can't see it from there. When Sis Ro accepted the mission, she asked us to enter within 3 hours. Roughly estimating, there should be less than half an hour left. I see. Ezichin nodded. Ezichin then followed the flame rat across a plain. Within the forest, he saw 3 female players who were methodically attacking the vine creatures. Jungle Vines LV-20, a level 20 wild monster. Ezichin stepped forward with his sword and activated the secret technique. A one-hit kill. The vines directly turned into experience points and drilled into the bodies of Ezichin and his teammates. Future God. Meng Luo was a little lowly. As her name suggested, she was petite and cute. She truly was a little lowly. Hua Jinro. It was pretty much the same as Ezichin had guessed. She was a mature and beautiful older sister. There was also a female player behind the 2 of them. White. Level 17. She wore a veil on her face. When she felt Ezichin's gaze, she merely nodded slightly, then stood behind without saying anything. 3 females and 1 male. The flame rat was pretty good. Future, you got 10 first kills in a single day. Number 1 on the level ranking. Although the combat ranking hasn't started yet, I believe that you will definitely be number 1 when it starts. Nice to meet you. Hua Jinro seemed like a diplomat in the team. She reached out her hand with a smile. Ezichin also reached out his hand and shook it. Hello. Ezichin waved towards everyone with a smile. Meng Luo ran over with a giggle and looked Ezichin up and down. I heard that you're a titled level expert. Is that true? Some people even said that you're a lord and a sovereign. Are you one? Meng Luo, don't ask randomly. Hua Jinro patted Meng Luo's head and smiled apologetically towards Ezichin. Ezichin shrugged nonchalantly. However, he remembered Meng Luo's words in his heart. Titled level. Is that what people in the novice village say? I won't say too much. Time is rather tight for this mission. Hua Jinro looked towards Ezichin. Everyone else knows the specifics of the mission. Since you don't, I'll just tell you briefly. Okay. Then, Hua Jinro introduced the specifics of the mission. The path of the hero. There were a total of 10 stages. There were 300 monsters in each stage to fight a boss. The initial level was level 21. Every subsequent stage would increase by 1 level. The boss's level was 5 times higher than the monsters. In other words, if Ezichin passed, the boss's level would be level 36. It would be best if I can clear it, Hua Jinro smiled. Of course, it doesn't matter if I can. This mission won't fail. What do you mean? This mission is calculated based on completion rate. Passing a stage is 10% completion rate. The monsters on each stage is 5%. The boss is 5%, and so on. Hua Jinro explained. Ezichin understood. This sort of person was rather human. He wouldn't lose everything if he failed. He would at least gain something. Then, the heart of the hero. Ezichin was actually most concerned about the heart of the hero. There's a 30% chance of getting the heart of the hero if you pass. If you don't pass, you'll get the chance based on the completion rate multiplied by 30. Okay. Ezichin stopped worrying. He was a bit worried that if he didn't pass, then he wouldn't get the heart of the hero. Since Hua Jinro said that it wouldn't affect it, it was naturally for the best. Otherwise, it would be a waste if he didn't get the heart of the hero. If there are no other problems, then let's enter the instance dungeon. Hua Jinro looked at the others in the team. Ezichin indicated that it was fine, so did the others. At that moment, Baisei walked beside Hua Jinro and whispered a few words. Whatever. With that, Hua Jinro placed her hand on the trunk of an ancient tree. The scene changed. You have entered the path of the hero. Since the highest level of your team is level 24, the stage level has been raised to level 26. From now on, every level cleared will increase by 1. 100 seconds of preparation time. I wish you good results. Chapter 2095. They entered the instance dungeon. Everyone received the notification. After a brief silence, they looked at each other. Is this my problem? Yi Zichen broke the silence. The initial stage was level 26. The boss was also level 31. If he remembered correctly, when Hua Jinro explained the instance dungeon, she said that the initial stage was level 21. It was an increase of 5 levels. Everyone else's faces turned ashen. With their attacks, it was a problem whether they could break through the boss's defense at level 26. It has nothing to do with you. Hua Jinro smiled wryly. Hua Jinro smiled bitterly. This notification had surprised her for a long time. We didn't think that the instance dungeon would increase according to the highest level and level. It seems like the Virtual World Corporation did this to prevent high-leveled players from carrying low-level players. Hua Jinro's thoughts were not wrong. If the levels were average or fixed, then level 500 players would have no difficulty entering the instance dungeon. What do we do now? Meng Luo pouted her pink lips. All of her equipment was level 15 white equipment, while her weapon was blue. She probably wouldn't be able to take a single hit with her attack power. She wouldn't be able to deal any damage. It wasn't just her, their small team was the same. Only Hua Jinro's equipment was slightly better. She held a level 15 golden weapon. It wasn't that their team was poor. Pretty much all the players in this game were like that. It was good to have a set of white equipment. A set of blue equipment and above was either extremely lucky or they had already started spending money. Someone like Yi Zichen, who was completely covered in gold, there weren't many in the entire game. This was because some equipment couldn't be bought with money in the early stages of the game. For example, Yi Zichen's dark gold weapon. He didn't sell it even after Withered would offered 500,000 universe dollars. There were a lot of rich people. However, there was very little equipment. That was the current situation of the game. Since we're here, we have to try, Hua Jinro smiled. Try to fight it, otherwise, wouldn't my 20,000 universe dollars be wasted? You bought it? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Yes, I bought it. There are a few drops from killing monsters in this instance dungeon, but the drop rate is very low. Right now, the average price in the beginner village is around 20,000 universe dollars. Hua Jinro nodded with a smile. So while monsters could drop this sort of instance dungeon scroll, this was most likely a benefit prepared by the Virtual World Corporation for the players. The drop rate of the Heart of the Brave was too low. When raiding such a dungeon, the hero's heart's loot would be higher, and there wouldn't be too many players stuck in the beginner's village. If you want to buy it, you can wait for a while. After the game update ends, a large number of domain level players will enter. The number of players in the novice village would also increase, and the number of instance dungeon scrolls would also increase. At that time, it might be more cost-effective to buy it, Hua Jinro reminded him kindly. Why didn't you wait? It was still the early stages of the game, and the demand for the heart of the hero was not high. We want to level up. Hua Jinro smiled bitterly. The experience of the monsters in the instance dungeon is double that of the monsters outside. It's more efficient to level up, and there's no need to fight with others. Who would have thought? The rest of his words were self-evident. No one would have thought that the monster's level would be so high. Ding! The first wave of invasion is about to begin. Players, please prepare. It's coming. The flame rat held the battle axe in its hand. As soon as he finished speaking, in this space of about 500 square meters, there were 300 Treants. Treant Guard, level 1. LV-26 by Say did not say anything. She clenched her fists, took out a bottle of purple liquid medicine, and smeared it on her glove. Bai Say, go, and pull one over to test the waters. Bai Say nodded. She used a mysterious footwork and pulled one over from the crowd of Treants, but did not affect the other Treants. Amazing. Yi Zichen praised in his heart when he saw that. The Treants were very close to each other, so if they were not careful, the 300 Treants might gang up on them. However, Bai Say relied on her footwork to not attract any extra Trent's aggro. Let's fight. Hua Jinro was the first to attack. She raised her sword Dong. Her HP dropped by a little. The Flame Rat and Meng Luo's attacks also dropped HP when they landed on the Treant. We can fight. Hua Jianro smiled. What she was afraid of the most was not being able to break through the Trent's defense right from the start. If that happened, then they would really be able to directly leave the instance dungeon. Yi Zichen charged forward with his sword in hand. He slashed down. The Trent's HP dropped by a tenth. Yi Zichen looked at the damage. It's good to have high levels and good equipment. It seems like we can only rely on Future God, Slipper, and us experienced babies. Of course, we won't just sit around. We will try our best to attract the Trent's aggro and control them for you. Hua Jianro immediately said when she saw Yi Zichen's attack. No problem. Then, Yi Zichen slashed a few more times. In less than half a minute, the Trant fell to the ground. The rich experience caused Yi Zichen's experience bar to increase by 1%. He cleared out the 300 Trants. That's about enough for him to reach level 26. Wow, that's too much experience. Meng Luo covered her mouth. It increased by 5% just now. Of course, it's a lot when fighting monsters that are 10 levels higher. Hua Jianro smiled. She also gained a lot of experience. That was even without the last attack. If it was the last attack, then the experience would be even more. It might actually be a blessing in disguise. The guards' levels increased, but their experience also increased by several folds. They felt like it wasn't a loss to freeload a few levels of experience with a god, and even made a small profit. One must know, there were teams that sold experience. They charged based on experience. The higher the level, the more expensive the fee. Yi Zichen led the experienced babies to fight level 26 monsters. There were still level 27, level 28, Hua Jianro estimated. Yi Zichen's equipment would be able to last until around level 31. If they cooperated well, then it might be even higher. The amount of experience they obtained from so many levels was huge. There was even a chance of getting the heart of a hero. No matter how she thought about it, it was a bit profitable. I feel like we can pull a few more. Level 26 monsters were rather simple for Yi Zichen. Even without activating a secret technique, he was still able to fight very efficiently. This was mainly because Yi Zichen's equipment was rather luxurious. A full set of level 20 golden equipment. Wasn't fighting level 26 monsters extremely simple? I'll go. The flame rat volunteered. The experience from eating a Trant filled him with motivation. Regardless of Hua Jianro's orders, this idiot, Meng Luo, stomped her feet anxiously. The flame rat charged too hard. He directly pulled 10-odd Trants. Under the roars of the other Trants, the other surrounding Trants also charged over. Yi Zichen looked at the dense group of Trants in front of him. Oh my god, I was wrong. The flame rat was chased all over the map by the Trants, causing more and more Trants to be attracted over. Wang Heng, do you want to die? Meng Luo shouted. Bai Sei let out a deep sigh, while Hua Jianro sighed dejectedly. We're going to get wiped out this time. Chapter 2096. I'm going to die. Meng Luo gripped her weapon and shouted angrily. The Trants that were attracted by the flame rat kept throwing boulders at it. Looking at the Tran in front of him, Yi Zichen was also a bit worried. There were simply too many of them. If only there was a fire now. You need fire. The words of the fire elemental spirit suddenly popped up in his mind. Let me do it. Chi. Yi Zichen's arm suddenly burst into flames. The sudden blaze stunned Hua Jianro and the others for a while. Wow, it's fire. How can it be fire? There aren't any skill instructors in the novice village. Nobody has any skills to learn. The classic exclamation naturally came from Meng Luo. The flames burned fiercely. Go. Yi Zichen did not hesitate at all. If he waited any longer, the flame rat would be killed by the Trent's rocks. Flames burned on the Trant guard's body. Since the Trant guards were of the wood attribute, after coming into contact with each other, more and more Trants came into contact with the flames, and the entire trial path turned into a sea of fire. There's an introduction on the official website. This game doesn't allow for class advancement, which means there's no skill mentor. All of the skills need to be self-created, which is to use real-life attacks in the game. Hua Jinro looked at the flames on Yi Zichen's arm. This should be it. Ding. Congratulations on creating your own fire controller skill. Skill attack power has been determined to be rank E. Please set a skill name for your current skill. The game's system notification sounded. Fire controller skill. During the lesson, didn't they say that only universe levels could become controllers? Yizichin had tried using the 5 elements in the Milky Way, which had never failed him. He could release them, but they weren't as turbulent as before. It was a flame that could burn the heavens and earth. When he used it again, it would be about the size of a palm. Shea had explained to him that it was due to the suppression of the elements. The level of the elements in the universe was very high, and the elemental spirits of the 5 elements did not have enough control over them. Right now, the game system determined that Yizichin was a fire controller. Does that mean that he can also release this kind of fire in real life? Ding, because you have not set the skill name for a long time, the system has automatically generated it for you. The current skill name is Firewall. Attack Power, rank E. As you're the 3rd player to create your own skill, you have gained 50 luck points. He was so engrossed in his own thoughts that he forgot about the naming. Yizichin couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he saw the name given by the system. Why did it have to be called Raging Flames Impact? Ding. System announcement will be made soon. Would you like to hide your name? Confirm. Ding. Congratulations to a player from the Galaxy Novice Village who wishes to remain anonymous. You have successfully created a fire controller attack skill, Firewall. The attack power is rank E. Because you're the 3rd player to create a skill, you have gained 50 luck points. A server-wide announcement. He's on TV again. Yizichin shrugged as he looked at the notice. Even though he hid his name, he knew very well that this kind of thing couldn't be hidden for long. Moreover, Hua Jinro and company all knew that the player who didn't want to reveal his name was Yizichin. What surprised Yizichin was, he was actually the 3rd player to create his own skill. It was not that he felt he was too far back, but that he felt he was too far forward. There were many players in the game. There were many supremacies and overlords. How could he be ranked in the top 3? He really didn't know what those supremacies and overlords were thinking. The Treant guards and the flames were in chaos. Yizichin wasn't sure if the flames would trigger a one-hit kill. In his opinion, most likely not. Yizichin directly charged into the sea of flames while the Treants were in chaos. Dong, dong, dong. One by one, the Treant guards fell into the sea of fire. Yizichin nimbly weaved through the interior and swung his sword as fast as he could. He didn't need to attack the vital points. Just hit them on the body, waiting for the secret technique to be activated. Hua Jianro, Bai Sei, the Flame Rat, and Meng Luo stood outside obediently like EXP babies. Ding, ding, ding. The golden light of leveling up flashed. It feels so good. The Flame Rat could not help but clench its fists as it looked at the jumping experience bar. This kind of leveling efficiency was much faster than those EXP vehicles outside. In less than half an hour, they had leveled up 5 times. He checked the ranking board. 1. Future level 262. White Phoenix LV 233. Hua Jianro LV 224. White LV 225. Flame Rat LV 216. Monroe is a lowly LVL 21. Wow, look. Meng Luo jumped with joy. Above her head was the number 6 on the heaven list. 300 Treants. Their levels shot up like a rocket. I just don't have any equipment to change. What a pity. Meng Luo looked at the white equipment she was wearing and twitched her mouth. Don't be dissatisfied. Hua Jianro patted Meng Luo's head. It's already good enough that we can leech experience with a deity. If we were to slowly level up outside, who knows how long it would take. I wonder if they dropped any equipment. Meng Luo looked around. They did. The Flame Rat was very sure. I saw equipment drop on the ground just now. Stop. Hua Jianro stopped them again. Hua Jianro spoke up again to stop them. We didn't even touch these monsters. Future was the one leading us in the fight. We only dropped a scroll. It's good enough that we could be EXP babies. It's too much if we want to split the equipment. Then what about our equipment? Meng Luo blinked. Buy it. Hua Jianro rubbed Meng Luo's face. Your dad loves you so much. Just ask him for several tens of millions to buy equipment. That's right. Meng Luo nodded heavily. But who are we going to buy it from? With the highest level right now. Oh, Hua Jianro, and company all looked towards Yi Zichen, who was dealing with the last few Treant guards. It seems like we can only find him. Dong, the last Treant guard was dealt with. Lowly human, a Treant that was several times larger than the Treant guards, suddenly appeared in the very center of the trial space. Demonic Treant Elder, first floor boss, level 31-inch. Who did you call lowly? Yi Zichen frowned. Lousy is a player that goes on TV every day. You actually call me a lowly human. Wall of fire. 6 walls of fire appeared and directly surrounded the Treant Elder. As the flames burned on its body, Yi Zichen felt like he could smell barbecued meat. Why can I smell this? Maybe I want to eat barbecued meat. Yi Zichen charged forward with his sword while the walls of fire surrounded him. All of a sudden, a surge of power came from his arm. Ding! Congratulations, heroes, you have cleared the first floor. Please prepare for the second floor's attack. Preparation time, 300 seconds. You can end your preparations at any time during this time. Yi Zichen looked at the boss in front of him in shock. Hua Jianro and company were also shocked. After a long while, Meng Luo covered her mouth and said in disbelief, I didn't see wrong. The boss was insta-killed, right? Chapter 2097. Looking at the surprised expressions on the others' faces, Yi Zichen couldn't help but wonder. It would be great if the activation rate of the secret skill could be controlled. Otherwise, the boss would be instantly killed when it was still at full HP. No one could explain it to him. Stay calm. Yi Zichen completely ignored the others' expressions and began to pick up the equipment and cosmic coins on the ground. 300 Treant guards. Almost 20,000 star coins were provided. 9 pieces of equipment had dropped. They were all level 20 blue equipment. The Tree Elder even provided 2 galaxy dollars and more than 700 star dollars. 3 pieces of equipment. 2 pieces of blue equipment and 1 piece of gold equipment. Level 25 leggings. Do you need any equipment? He glanced at the others. From Meng Luo's expression, it seemed that she wanted to ask about the boss's instant death. Hua Jianro tugged at her. He gestured for her not to ask any random questions. Then, he walked up to her and nodded with a smile. We do need some equipment, but these monsters were all killed by you. It's okay. You can use it if you need it. This equipment, Yi Zichen didn't need it, and blue and white equipment couldn't be sold for much. It doesn't matter even if I give it to them. What's more, these were dungeon scrolls that Hua Jinro bought. Yi Zichen got them for free, so he wouldn't be too embarrassed to take all the equipment for himself. However, the exposure of equipment here was quite good. There were 10 bosses. If every boss dropped a piece of gold equipment, that would be a total of 10 pieces of gold equipment. This was much better than killing wild monsters outside. If possible, once he got out, he had to collect as many instance dungeon scrolls as possible. Even if he didn't have the money, Wealthy 100 Phoenix had one. She needed the boss so much, and there was a boss here. She could level up and possibly drop materials, so why not? Speak of the devil. The moment Yi Zichen thought of by phone, the rich lady sent him a private message. What are you doing? How did you level up so quickly? I'm in a dungeon. Just as he was about to tell by phone about this, by phone came to ask him herself. This instance dungeon gives a lot of EXP, and there are 10 bosses in the instance dungeon. I think you should try to get your people to collect these instance dungeon scrolls. There was a limit to the number of wild bosses. The respawn time was also extremely long. The official website announced that boss monsters would respawn in 72 hours. In other words, they would only respawn once every 3 days. If 100 Phoenix could collect a large number of dungeon scrolls, she would be able to defeat more bosses. Is that so? I'll ask them to collect it now. Don't give it too high. Right now, the average selling price is around 20,000 cosmic credits. It might even go lower in the future, reminded Yi Zichen. Otherwise, he really was afraid that the rich woman would lose too much money. I'll remember, By phone replied. Also, I've already set off. I'll arrive at your place in about 100 days. Get ready. No problem. 100 days was still a long time. Yi Zichen had plenty of time to prepare. After some time, he wanted to earn more money in the game and buy a house outside the school. When the time came, he would arrange for by phone to stay there. If he really couldn't, let her live on campus. In any case, The dormitory of the school's core students was also very large. The chat ended. Yi Zichen looked towards Hua Jinro and company. How about it? Do you guys want it? So, Yi Zichen took out the equipment and placed it in front of them. The equipment was shared. Because the game didn't have any classes, players could wear any kind of equipment. This was also the reason many players in the novice village would wear a mix of heavy armor, light armor, and cloth armor. Different types of equipment would have different stats. Heavy armor was more focused on defense and HP. It was bulky and would affect the character's speed. Light armor would provide some agility. Cloth armor would provide some intelligence. A character's equipment had a total of 10 slots. Clothes, pants, shoulders, hands, shoes, weapons, 2 rings, a necklace, and a bracelet. Among them, defense. Clothes, pants, shoulders, hands, and shoes. 5 pieces. If all of them were heavy armor, or all of them were light armor, they would provide additional stat bonuses. But it was good to have equipment to wear these days. No one dared to dream about having the highest stats and trying to get 5 pieces of equipment of the same type. Difficult. Even Yi Zichen didn't have a set. Right now, he only had 4 pieces of level 25 light armor and a pair of heavy armor leggings. Oh yeah, and the level 20 gold equipment I changed out of. Hua Jinro and the other players all revealed a look of desire when they saw the 5 pieces of gold equipment. When they reached the stats level, I don't like heavy armor. Meng Luo twitched her mouth and didn't participate in the competition. This little loli liked to wear cloth armor. She felt like she was like a little fairy when she wore it. If he wore a set of heavy armor, he would be like an iron warrior. It went against her taste. In the future, we will indeed need these pieces of equipment. Hua Jianro looked at the equipment on the ground, especially the set of gold equipment that Yi Zichen had tossed down. But there's still many more floors. After we finish them, our levels understood. Yi Zichen nodded, then put away the equipment. You want to wait until the end to confirm what you need, right? No problem. We'll talk about it at the end. I'm sorry, Hua Jinro apologized. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Yi Zichen shrugged nonchalantly. Then we'll talk about it at the end. I'll help you keep the equipment. I mean, we're going to be EXP babies forever. I'm really sorry about that. Hua Jinro blushed. It's a small matter. It's quite easy for me to beat them. Yi Zichen waved his hand nonchalantly. You guys stay there and wait. I'm going to start the second wave. All right. Hua Jinro and the others retreated to the corner. Meng Luo tilted her head in confusion. Sister Hua, how did he instantly kill the boss? Aren't you curious? It's probably a secret technique. Hua Jinro looked at Yi Zichen, who was in front of her. Do you guys remember the person in the Milky Way's novice village who had a secret technique to kill in one hit? I thought it was some other novice village, but now it seems like it's him. Is that so? Meng Luo blinked. Some of the players in the top 10,000 obtained techniques from the overlords and venerables, while others obtained some rare resources. They all think it's good, but they scoff at the secret method. Hua Jinro squinted her eyes. I thought so too, but now I realize the secret technique is the most important. That's right. Bai Sei nodded as well. Why? Both Meng Luo and the Flame Rat looked confused. The techniques of overlords and venerables can't be bought even if you want to. Can the secret technique be bought? Hua Jinro pursed her lips and asked. Besides, don't forget that we're only playing a game. What's the use of the martial arts of an overlord or martial highness in a game? Chapter 2098. Wow, Sister Hua. The Flame Rat did not seem to agree. Even if the techniques of overlords and venerables are useless in the game, they can be extracted into the real world. If you can comprehend them, you can at least become a noble. Time, Baiyu suddenly said. Yes. Hua Jinro nodded. Time. How long will it take you to comprehend the techniques of overlords? Isn't your father a venerables? Will he hide it from you? How much of it can you comprehend? The Flame Rat shrugged. He did not comprehend anything. The Creator is right in front of you, but you can't comprehend it. What do you think other people can comprehend with just a set of techniques? They obtained the techniques, but they didn't comprehend them completely. The secret technique is different. The secret technique is comprehended directly and integrated into the character. Hua Jinro explained to the flame rat and Meng Luo patiently. You guys saw that he can kill the boss in one hit. Can other people do the same? The flame rat and Meng Luo shook their heads. Of course not. The game was all about data. Anyone who killed a monster or a boss would need to lose HP bit by bit. This is the advantage of the secret technique in the game. If others can't fight him, he can use the secret technique to increase the probability of killing him in one hit. This way, his advantage in the game will be much higher than the other players. Moreover, I'm actually wondering if this secret technique can be extracted into the real world. They were dumbfounded. Meng Luo and the flame rat opened their mouths in shock. Why you look calm? Obviously, she had thought of this possibility as well. It can't be. The flame rat's face turned pale. If this secret technique is extracted into the real world, it will be invincible. Once it is triggered, it can be killed in one hit. Overlords and venerables will die if they encounter him. That's impossible. Why is it impossible? Hua Jinro looked calm. Money, equipment, and techniques can be extracted. Why can't the secret technique be extracted? Don't forget that this is a game produced by the Virtual World Corporation. It's special, but the flame rat frowned. He still felt that it was impossible. If this secret technique was extracted into the real world, this person would be able to rule the universe. What alien race? No matter who they were, they would be killed in one hit. You're still too young. Hua Jinro patted the flame rat's head. It's too easy to think of problems. Actually, this secret technique isn't completely unsolvable in reality. How so? Because this is reality. Hua Jinro raised her eyebrows. Secret techniques require a certain probability of being triggered. In reality, the overlords and venerables are all proficient in the laws of the universe. Before the secret technique is triggered, he might already be dead. That's true. The flame rat nodded heavily. But it is still undeniable that the owner of this secret technique deserves our attention. Hua Jinro spoke again. If you can, try to interact with him more. It will be best if you can befriend him in real life. Bai Sei, I'll leave this to you. Huh? Bai Sei was stunned. Our Northwest Universe country, publicly recognized as the #1 beauty. Her family background is strong, and her talent is even more exceptional. If you were to make a move, wouldn't it be a piece of cake? Hua Jinro squinted her eyes and teased. Isn't your family also recruiting talents? He's definitely a stock with potential. Who knows, he might even be a king or marquis in reality. Stop fooling around. Under the veil, one could see Bai Sei's helplessness. Why aren't you going, Huajia? I'm engaged. It's not like you guys don't know that I'm about to get engaged, Hua Jinro said. It's starting again. Huajia is starting to show off her love again. The flame rat shouted exaggeratedly. Hua Jinro's eyes were filled with happiness as she patted the flame rat's head. If Lil White isn't going, then Meng Luo will go. Sure, sure. Meng Luo's eyes were filled with excitement. Meng Luo's eyes were filled with excitement. Let me go. I'll definitely make him my son-in-law. Everyone's expression darkened. Do you know what son-in-law means? I don't. Meng Luo replied confidently. Anyways, leave it to me. I'm still a bit worried. How about we take our time to think about it? Agreed. Agreed. Hua Jinro, Bai Sei, and the flame rat nodded. What Yi Zichen didn't know was that while he was killing his enemies courageously, the experienced babies behind him were plotting against him. A wall of fire covered the ground. The second floor was still guarded by treants. It was a level higher than the previous floor. After changing to level 25 equipment, it was very easy to kill them without triggering a secret technique. Still half an hour later, all done. Yi Zichen leveled up to level 27. Hua Jinro and the other experienced babies also leveled up by more than 2 levels. The boss appeared. Under the wall of fire, Yi Zichen intentionally controlled the frequency of his attacks, in case the boss was insta-killed again. Yet, Hua Jinro and the others already knew. Approximately 3 minutes later, secret technique activated. Instant kill. Yi Zichen entered the next floor. Using this method, Yi Zichen dragged Hua Jinro and the other experienced babies to the 5th floor. He obtained several tens of equipment. It was unknown whether it was because Yi Zichen was lucky or because he was exposed in the dungeon. Apart from the first floor, there was only one piece of gold equipment. The next 4 floors all gave 2 pieces of gold equipment. Yi Zichen also leveled up to level 29. Hua Jinro, the Flame Rat, Bai Sei, and Meng Luo were all level 27. They were far ahead on the level leaderboard. The players in the novice village who paid attention to the level leaderboard were already numb. They had already guessed that these players who leveled up like they were riding a rocket were definitely in Yi Zichen's team. Otherwise, they really couldn't think of how these guys leveled up. If the 4 of them were singled out, the players would be very shocked and might even report them. But if they were with Yi Zichen, they felt like it was only natural, not for any other reason, just because he was the future. He was wanted for stealing the Overlord Alliance's boss at the start of the game. Not only did he not disappear, he even got the first kill of 10 bosses in the novice village. Not long ago, he met the Overlord Alliance at the entrance of the novice village and made them run away with their tails between their legs. I heard that they went to a dungeon. Most likely, they leveled up in a dungeon, right? Yi Zichen did not choose to directly go to the next floor after finishing off the boss of the 5th floor. Not for any other reason. He felt that it was a bit strenuous. The monsters on the 5th floor were level 30, while the bosses were level 35. Yi Zichen noticed that every 5 levels in this game was a turning point. At level 5, the player's equipment could be upgraded. It was as if the monsters were wearing equipment as well, causing their stats to increase greatly. At the moment, Yi Zichen was level 29. The higher the level, the more experience he needed. Previously, he could level up by 2 levels by clearing a floor. This time, clearing the boss on the 5th floor only gave him half of the experience. He might have to clear the 6th floor in order to level up to level 30. However, the problem was that he couldn't do it anymore. He needed someone to pull the aggro for him so that he could deal damage in peace and wait for the secret technique to be activated. That way, the secret technique would definitely be exposed. Just as Yi Zichen was hesitating, ding, Withered Tree sent him a private message. Chapter 2099. On the Rocky Hill. Level 25 map. It was a team of 10 well-equipped men. In front of them were several stone golem corpses that had just been killed and had not been processed by the system. No one picked up the star coins that dropped on the ground. Suddenly, one of them clicked on the leaderboard and threw the weapon in his hand to the ground. What's going on with the number 1 player on the ranking list? It must be the people from the Virtual World Corporation. They're transferring the data in the background. Don't spout nonsense. How could the Virtual World Corporation do such a thing? Watch your mouth. At this moment, a mature woman in the team frowned. Boss is good friends with him and has already contacted him. Don't talk nonsense. Don't forget that this is also the Virtual World Corporation's game. If you get captured by the Virtual World Corporation, we won't care about you. You don't even allow me to say it. The youth pointed at the ranking board. Look, he's already level 29, and it's only been a few hours. Shut up. Suddenly, an angry shout came from the front. Looking towards the source of the sound, it was surprisingly Withered Tree. At least there's news that Future went to the Hero's Instance dungeon. We just fought it. You should know how rich the experience inside is. But we're already out. The young man frowned. They went in before us and haven't come out yet. Could it be that they are still killing? What's more, we spent 2 hours clearing 1 floor. I'm asking. Withered Tree quietly waited for a reply. He was right. Yi Zichen's sudden rise in level made it impossible for him to face it calmly. More importantly, he needed to verify something. If it was true, then he would have a follow-up plan. Almighty, are we still fighting? Meng Luo waved her little fist excitedly. In just 3 short hours, her level had risen by a whopping 11 levels. Now that she'd tasted the sweetness of leveling up, she decided that after this was over, she'd go out and continue collecting scrolls, then invite Yi Zichen over to fight. Wait, a friend is looking for me. Meng Luo nodded obediently, then silently retreated to a corner. Friend, are you trying the hero's dungeon? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw Ku Mu's private message, then looked at the level leaderboard. That's right. Which floor are you on now? We're almost at the 6th floor. For a long time, There was no reply from Kumu. Yizichin didn't mind too much and looked towards Hua Jinro and company that. I need your help. Great God, tell me. I'll do anything. Meng Luo ran over excitedly. Yizichin couldn't help but smile when he saw how excited she was. Actually, it's not that hard. I just need you guys to pull the aggro while I deal damage from behind. No problem. Meng Luo nodded heavily. Hua Jinro, Bai Sei, and the flame rat walked over too. After being experienced babies for so long, we finally have a place to put our skills to use. We will try our best to pull the aggro of the monsters, Hua Jinro said with a smile. Please. With that, Yizichin glanced at them. I'll open it now. During that time, Yizichin had already taken over the position of team leader, while the others nodded in agreement. Yizichin also clicked challenge. Cough, cough. The withered tree in the rubble coughed violently. Boss! The others gathered around, and Kumu knocked on the head of the youth who had provoked them. Why did you hit me? The young man felt wronged. I'll be back in the future. Kumu sat on a rock, while the others became interested. The young man asked urgently, How is it? He's clearing the hero's instance dungeon. How many levels? Immediately opened the 6th level. As soon as Kumu's voice fell, everyone's eyes widened. Impossible. The young man immediately shook his head. Our team is at the top of the novice village in terms of levels and equipment. We only cleared 1 level after fighting for 2 hours, and we haven't even fought the boss. Why does he have to open the 6th level? There's no need for him to lie to me, Kumu shrugged. That means he's a supporter of the Virtual World Corporation. Boss, I'm telling you, I did my homework when the game was updated. For this sort of virtual game, the game company would always have supporters. It's also that the players in the game can top up. The young man replied righteously. Are you an idiot? The only female in the team slapped the young man's head. The slap was very hard, and the sound was like a watermelon being smashed. Female character. Black hair, LVL 22. Sis. The young man held his head. Green River, LVL 22. Does this game have an entrance to top up? Green hair frowned. Supporter? Does the Virtual World Corporation need a supporter? I don't talk to the brainless fans of the Virtual World Corporation. Green River curled his lips, covered his head, and ran out. Who are you calling brainless? Green hair raised her hand. Stop messing around. Kumu stopped the siblings, then let out a deep breath. Actually, I've been wondering if you remember the Milky Way Novice Village, where someone obtained a secret technique to kill in 1 hit. Everyone nodded. Actually, I didn't think that person would be in our novice village. There are tens of thousands of novice villages in every galaxy, some even more than hundreds of thousands. But this future had White Phoenix. It made me wonder they might be the ones with the secret technique. Kumu pointed at his own equipment, as well as the others. Our equipment is all from him. Think about it. How did he and White Phoenix manage to kill so many high-level bosses by themselves? This game is LVL 5. The stats of monsters will increase greatly. I went out and asked many friends, understanding the situation of other novice villages. In other novice villages, I didn't see anyone who could kill bosses 10 levels higher. Why can they? The only possibility is that one of them has a secret technique. This dungeon, without White Phoenix, Future's level soared, and he even reached LVL 5 of Path of the Hero, preparing to challenge LVL 6. Part of the reason is that his equipment is excellent, but the other reason is that he is the one with the secret technique. Everyone nodded. Kumu had always been their core, and everyone felt that there was no problem with his analysis. Boss, what do you think we should do? My relationship with him is not bad. Dead Tree smiled. I could try to get in touch with him. You all know that this game is very important to all parties. Overlords, venerables, monarchs, they all join their own forces to build momentum. But building momentum in the outside world is still outside. Building momentum inside the game is the main point. There are many unaffiliated players in the universe, and the stronger the game is, the more people will join. Everyone nodded. Kumu narrowed his eyes. Return to the city and collect the dungeon scroll. When Future comes out, I will invite him to lead us in Path of the Hero. Chapter 2100. He wanted to recruit talents in the game. There are many ways. Good benefits and a strong background, but the easiest way was to get on the list. The leaderboard. The higher one was on the leaderboards, the more players from a certain faction were on the leaderboards. There was also the first blood. The first clear was permanently recorded in the system's probability. Players could check the history of the game at any time to see the first clears in the game or clear the first clears, a series of events worthy of being recorded. Have this. Naturally, the unaffiliated players in the game would come because of the fame. According to the official website, when players reached a certain level in the game, other leaderboards would appear. If you wanted to occupy a spot on the leaderboard, the most important thing was the level. The higher the level, the higher the ranking on the level rankings. The higher the level, the better the equipment. When the combat strength rankings began, the higher the ranking would be. In the end, levels were the most important thing in the game. Furthermore, the faster he leveled up, the faster he would be able to leave the novice village. Everyone knew that leaving the beginner's village was the true beginning of the game. Witheredwood's thoughts were very simple. They'd asked Yizichin to lead them through the path of the brave. There was a chance to obtain the heart of the hero. He could also level up, so why not? Boss, can you really contact him? Green River shouted in surprise. He really wanted to get to know this novice village of the Milky Way, a famous future. He also wanted to verify it. Did he really fight his way to this level? Or did the Virtual World Corporation tamper with his data? There shouldn't be a problem. Kumu hesitated for a while. He wasn't sure either. According to his estimations, his relationship with the future was not bad as long as he gave a suitable commission. He shouldn't be rejected. Ding! System announcement. Congratulations to the galaxy's novice village. A player has successfully reached level 30 in the future. As this player is the first player to reach level 30 in the galaxy's novice village, the system rewards 20 luck points. Ding! Because a player in the Milky Way novice village has reached level 30, the faction ranking is unlocked. All the players in the novice village in the Milky Way received this message. He checked the ranking board. Future level 30-inch F*CK. Sitting on the ground, Blue River frowned. This guy's actually level 30. His leveling speed is way too fast. Gumu didn't say anything and directly opened a ranking list. 1. God Domain 2. Nebula 3. Blue Shield Family 4. Demon Tower 5. Overlord Alliance. The ranking of the factions within the game was similar to the factions outside the game. Outside the game, it was based on the strength of the people who joined the faction. In the game, it was based on the strength of the people who joined the organization. Of course, another fundamental difference was that the external powers of the game were the entire universe, a total of 3,080 universe countries. Within the game, based on the current progress of the game, just a certain novice village. It wasn't the strength of the entire game. Ranked 4th was the force that Kumu and the others belonged to. Devil Tower. Boss, we're ranked 4th in the novice village. What is there to be proud of? Deadwood was not complacent about this result. In one of the novice villages in the Milky Way, it's only ranked 4th. In the entire universe, how high can our Devil Tower rank? We have a lot of people in the other novice villages. Azure River muttered in a low voice after being reprimanded. Are the others all here? Kumu asked coldly. When Azure River heard this, he didn't say anything else. What Deadwood said was right. The members of the other factions were naturally scattered. As a matter of fact, the current ranking of forces, it was no different from children playing house. All in all, there was no point of reference. The true ranking was after leaving the novice village and calculating the rankings of the universe. That was when the true competition between the factions began. The level rankings were the same, and the combat strength rankings would be the same. However, the rankings during the novice village period couldn't be ignored. The strength of the casual players in the universe was immeasurable. Only by absorbing more players in the novice village would they have a place in the universe. Kumu and the others were ranked 4th. This ranking wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. However, Kumu was far from satisfied. He wanted to be number 1. From the faction rankings, he kept looking at the top 50. The only one worth paying attention to was the Overlord Alliance. None of the other factions had any impression of them in the game's official external faction rankings, which meant, in this novice village, there weren't any overlords, knights, or universe country leaders. There might be, but they weren't doing well in the novice village that Kumu was at. Under such circumstances, if he didn't develop well, Kumu would feel sorry for himself. I wonder who the top 3 factions are. Will there be any future factions among them? Kumu looked at the rankings and thought for a long time. Maybe I could try to invite them again. These unknown small workshops aren't suitable for staying in them in the future. Demon Tower. It wasn't a big faction, but it wasn't small either. The Demon Tower would appear in almost all virtual online games. It was one of the more established factions in the game. More importantly, the Demon Tower's ranking in the external world was always around 100,000. Don't underestimate this ranking. Amongst the millions or even tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of factions, being able to rank above 100,000 was a very high ranking. Demon Tower. It had 3 king-ranked experts, 15 king-ranked experts. Regardless of whether it was in the game or not, they had a lot of power. Kumu was one of the people in charge of the Demon Tower. He had the authority to take in elites and could offer a very high price. If he was willing to join in the future, he could ask the higher-ups to invite him into the Demon Tower with the highest treatment. Yi Zichen let out a deep breath. Kumu, who had already opened the chat with Yi Zichen, clicked close. At that moment, Yi Zichen was focused on dungeons. What he wanted to say to Yi Zichen, no matter if it was to invite him to play the path of the hero or invite him to join the Demon Tower, they were all things that needed to be done seriously. If he went to find Yi Zichen now, not only would it affect his dungeons, the time they had to negotiate and consider was too short. It wasn't a suitable time. Boss, were we going to dungeon with the future? Azure River, who was scolded, came over again. There was no helping it. Seeing Yi Zichen level up so quickly, he was also tempted. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Tian, you're the most impatient. Do we have dungeon scrolls now? Kumu shouted. No. The young man scratched his head. Hurry up and get them. Withered Tree roared angrily. Chapter 2101. Remember in 1 second, pen divided by, fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. The other members of the Dead Tree group hurriedly took out their return talismans. This kind of return talisman would drop when fighting monsters, and the drop rate was not too low. There were players in the novice village who specialized in selling return talismans. One return talisman cost 500 star coins. A white light flashed. Everyone returned to the novice village from the rocky hill. Only now did Qing. He let out a long breath. What's wrong with the boss? Why is he so angry? The others also shook their heads slightly. During this period of time, Kumu had been very moody. Sometimes he would be smiling in 1 second, and the next second his face would turn ashen, as if he was about to kill someone. Maybe it's because our Devil Tower's ranking has exceeded his expectations. Qing Si pursed her lips. I heard that the Devil Tower gave Witheredwood a lot of pressure this time. Is it because of that guy? Qing, he seemed to know some inside information as well. He narrowed his eyes and clenched his fists tightly. Ever since that guy took over, he's been looking for trouble with the boss. In my opinion, instead of staying in the Devil Tower and being bullied, it's better to leave the Devil Tower. We have tens of thousands of old brothers. No matter where we go, others will be happy to accept us. Qing Si did not refute Qing He's words. The expressions of the others were the same. Perhaps in their hearts, they also felt that this might be better. That's enough. Keep the scroll. Qing Si smiled faintly and ended the conversation. Help! Great God! I can't take it anymore. The flame rat lived up to its name, covering its head and scurrying away. At this moment, the Treant elder was chasing after him. Diant. In the past, Yi Zichen would always scoff at the boss's voice. Anyone who said something like that, he would most likely die in less than 2 minutes. Yet, Yi Zichen felt like the tree elder's words were so fitting. It was really, they were too insignificant. This was the 8th stage of the instance dungeon. The boss's level had reached a shocking level of 38. His attributes were ridiculously high. Yi Zichen had already reached level 30. When he leveled up to level 30, he didn't have much equipment to upgrade. He exchanged for 2 level 30 accessories and a level 30 weapon. Weapons. Dark Gold rank. Dark Gold weapons had 2 attribute bars. Armor break. 5% chance to reduce enemy defense. A heavy blow. 3% chance to stun the target. Its attack was also about twice as powerful as the previous weapon. When he first switched to this weapon, Yi Zichen had an easy time fighting. At the very least, without triggering the secret technique, he could still attack and reduce his HP. On the 8th floor, his attack still had some effect on the Tran guards. Unfortunately, the Flame Rat and the others couldn't hold on any longer. Now, monsters didn't even need to do anything. Just a light touch was enough to kill them. They pulled monsters with trepidation. If it wasn't for them pulling aggro, it would have been very hard for Yi Zichen to get anything out of them. The demonic Treant Elder chased after the Flame Rat relentlessly. Yi Zichen did not dare to waste any time. He stood behind the Elder and continued to chop at his feet. Just then, the secret technique had arrived. A surge of power flowed into his arm. The sword fell. The demonic Treant Elder fell heavily to the ground. The Flame Rat that was running in front saw a huge black shadow. Boom! Ding, your team member Flame Rat has died. Before anyone had the chance to celebrate passing the 8th floor, looking at the system notification, they were all dumbfounded. The demonic Treant Elder died. The Flame Rat was squashed to death by the Treant Elder's corpse? Is there a need to be so depressing? Wow, I can't take it anymore. The Flame Rat, who was exiled from the dungeon, screamed. The Virtual World Corporation is sick, right? The monster is already dead. How can it be squashed to death by a player? Seriously, it's very realistic, Hua Jinro giggled. Hua Jinro said with a smile, if we kill the extraterritorial clans outside, their bodies will be preserved after they die. They might accidentally squash us to death. TSK, the Flame Rat twitched his mouth. Since he was exiled from the dungeon, he couldn't be a happy experience baby anymore. What a loss. His mind was filled with the Treant Elder. He really wanted to eat his flesh and sleep on his skin. I'll use an axe to chop it to pieces, then use it to make fire. What if the Flame Rat went out? Meng Luo blinked and asked, how about we stop here? Yi Zichen smiled. I already had a hard time on this floor. Even if I continue on the next floor, I probably won't be able to last long. Since the great deity has spoken, how could we dare to disobey? Hua Jinro squinted her eyes with a giggle. Let's stop here. F***CK. Suddenly, the Flame Rat's exclamation sounded out in the team voice chat. Huajia, look, we're ranked 2nd on the faction leaderboard. Hearing that, the others clicked on the leaderboard. 1. Divine Domain 2. Nebula Yi Zichen also raised his eyebrows when he saw the name. Nebula. I feel like the name is pretty good. It really is. The lowly Meng Luo also waved her hands excitedly. It was clear that she was truly happy. Just now, all of them had been single-mindedly pulling aggro. They couldn't afford to be distracted at all. The huge amount of experience caused them to forget about the leaderboard and only thought about pulling monsters to level up. It's very normal for us to be ranked high. Hua Jinro calmed down after a brief moment of joy. Our levels are higher, so we might have a certain advantage. With that, Hua Jinro looked towards Yi Zichen. Future great deity, this divine domain can't be yours, right? No, Yi Zichen shrugged. How could it be? Hua Jinro frowned. Your level and equipment are far above the other players. Just you alone should be enough to insta-kill the other factions. You hit it? Yes. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Keep a low profile. F***CK. If it isn't the future great deities faction, then where did the number 1 come from? We're all level 29, and the highest in the game is only level 25. Why are they ranked higher than us? The Flame Rat shouted in the team voice chat. We have fewer people, Hua Jinro replied. Flowery Row replied, maybe there are a lot of their players here. Also, we haven't changed our equipment yet, so our equipment score isn't high. That's why we're ranked 2nd. That's right. With that, Hua Jinro suddenly looked towards Yi Zichen. I understand. Yi Zichen understood her meaning with a single glance and took out all of the equipment from his backpack. Here, future great deity, We won't take this equipment for nothing. Hua Jinro squinted her eyes with a smile. We'll use money to buy it. Of course, it's real money and not in-game money. No need. Yi Zichen waved his hand. We have to. We didn't participate in the killing at all. We don't deserve all of this equipment, Hua Jinro insisted. That's so embarrassing. Yi Zichen frowned and let out a deep sigh, then told her his universe gold card account. Transfer it. Chapter 2102. Remember in 1 second. Pen divided by. Fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. Everyone froze, using such a righteous expression and tone, but secretly providing an account. Was this really okay? We're prepared to take all these level 25 and above blue and gold equipment. How many do you want? Do as you see fit. Yi Zichen smiled innocently. 20,000? Hua Jinro asked tentatively. Hua Jinro raised the price once again when she saw Yi Zichen's speechless expression. 30,000. When Hua Jinro saw Yi Zichen's expression, she understood that he felt that the price was too low. Didn't you say you'd give it to me, as I see fit? Didn't he say that he didn't need to pay before? How much do you want? It's up to you. Yi Zichen rubbed his hands with a smile. He was in desperate need of money right now. The elemental elf's milk powder needed to be upgraded. He had been in the universe for so long, but he had yet to purchase a suitable weapon. For the future of the galaxy, he also needed to buy slaves. It was not that he was stingy, but he had no choice. He needed money. Look at me again. Hua Jinro muttered in her heart. She just wanted to give it to him, but Yi Zichen didn't agree. He had thought that Yi Zichen was pretty good before. He had the demeanor of an expert. He didn't expect her to be a money grubber. Taking a deep breath, Hua Jinro started online banking in the virtual network and made an instant transfer. Ding, respected Universe Gold Card user. Your account has been credited with 200,000 Universe dollars. Please take note. He was making money again. Yi Zichen swore that this was one of his favorite notifications in his life. 200,000 Universe dollars. He could buy a lot of star-level slaves. If he earned more money, he would be able to upgrade the milk powder of the elemental spirits. They ate well and grew up quickly. As a father, he was also very happy. If he could get a few more elemental reverse nurtures, it wouldn't be difficult for him to break through to the star rank. He could also consider cosmic system state slaves. Throw a few at the Milky Way galaxy and station them there. Very good. Thank you for your patronage, boss. Yi Zichen smiled honestly, then pushed all the equipment to Hua Jinro's side. From now on, this equipment belongs to you. Hua Jinro was confused. What does that mean? The level 25 equipment was pushed out, and the rest of the equipment was taken away. What's wrong? Aren't you only buying level 25 and above? Noticing Hua Jinro's expression, Yi Zichen took out the equipment he put away. Do you need it? We can talk about it later. No need. Hua Jinro practically squeezed out the 2 words through her teeth. He took a deep breath and suppressed the fire in his heart with great difficulty. Go in hand in the mission. Ding. Congratulations. Your party has completed the path of the Brave Challenge. Completion rate, 80%. Obtained 40% of the current level's EXP. Gone. Yi Zichen was stunned for a long time as he looked at the system notification. With an 80% completion rate, he had a 24% chance to obtain the hero's heart. He actually didn't? He did give a lot of EXP, but if he did not give Heart of the Brave, did you use the Heart of the Brave? Yi Zichen asked. The others also shook their heads. It seemed that none of them had come out. A 24% chance was not low. Not even a 5-man team could obtain the Heart of the Brave. How unlucky. At that moment, Yi Zichen rubbed his hands. Since you guys bought equipment, then the equipment you had before is useless, right? How about giving it to me? Ours are all white equipment. Meng Luo blinked. White equipment can be sold for money as well. Even if no one buys them, you can get a lot of star coins by selling them to an equipment store. Yi Zichen replied seriously. Sure, I'll give you mine. Meng Luo took off all her equipment without thinking. She did not have a single piece of equipment on her at the moment. It was fortunate that this game, even if she took off all her equipment, she still had some cloth clothes to cover the important parts. Otherwise, Meng Luo would be completely seen. Here, Meng Luo walked over with the equipment in her hands, but was stopped by Hua Jinro. Don't give it to him. Stingy. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth when he saw Hua Jinro's expression. Never mind if you don't want to give it to me. We'll meet again. With that, Yi Zichen did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed at the mission location and killed vine monsters for a few more days. He only used it after getting his city return sigil. Miser, Hua Jinro muttered in her heart. Meng Luo was very confused. Huajia, why didn't you give the equipment to the future god? Since we have no use for it, it's not a big deal to give it to him, right? Why? Hua Jinro frowned. We have no use for it. Meng Luo blinked. The flame red also nodded. I also feel like it's not a big deal to give it to the future god. He helped us level up so many times. Bai Sei. Hua Jinro looked towards Bai Sei, wanting her to say something fair. I don't think so either. After a long while, Bai Sei finally spoke up. Hua Jinro looked at the surrounding people speechlessly. What? Do you guys still think that's my fault? That I'm stingy? Didn't you guys see him just now? Perhaps the future god lacks money. Meng Luo's thinking was very simple, but sometimes this kind of simplicity was closer to the truth. We don't lack money, so just give it to him. Huajia, there really isn't a need. Bai Sei hesitated for a moment. Bai Sei hesitated for a moment before saying, because future brought us through the path of the brave, our levels have been raised. Right now, we are at the top of both the level ranking and faction ranking. This is a very beneficial method of promotion. Yes, I've already received a lot of friend requests. The flame rat nodded. Hua Jinro looked at the friend requests that she had ignored. Tens of thousands. That was right. Being on the ranking was indeed a good method of promotion. It would be much easier to promote one's faction. Take these friend requests as an example. If all of them were absorbed into Nebula, just based on numbers, Nebula would be invincible in this novice village. Even if they left the beginner village and entered the universe, their beginner village was strong, while the other beginner villages were slightly weaker. They could neutralize each other. Their overall strength would not be too far off. We just teamed up with Future. Actually, we should take this opportunity to invite him to fight again. I believe he won't reject it, Bai Sei said. That's right. Hua Jinro realized that she had not thought through her actions earlier. All right, I was wrong. What do you guys think? Go and collect the dungeon scrolls as soon as possible so that Future can fight with us a few more times and gain an advantage in the early stages, Bai Sei replied. All right, I'll go and collect them. Meng Luo, you have a friend with him, right? Go and contact him. I think he has a good impression of you. Hua Jinro shrugged. Meng Luo smiled and nodded. Immediately, no way. Why? Hua Jinro frowned. She felt that Future would not be so stingy. Would he not bring them along just because of what happened earlier? The future god said that he has a date. Meng Luo said, Chapter 2103. Remember in 1 second, pin divided by, fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. You have an appointment? Hua Jinro was surprised. Less than 2 minutes had passed since Yi Zichen returned to the city, and Meng Luo came to find him. He's not trying to fool you, is he? Hua Jinro frowned, while Meng Luo frowned. I don't know either. Why don't you ask? Meng Luo said with clear eyes. Without much hesitation, Hua Jinro sent Yi Zichen a message. Not long after, she bit her lower lip with a strange expression. How so? I have an appointment. Hua Jinro gave the same reply as Meng Luo. He said that Tianhai invited him to play the Path of the Brave. Tianhai? The flame rat frowned. I've never heard of it. Tianhai, I found it. Right then, Bai Sei walked up to them. Tianhai's character information appeared in front of her right hand. Sky C LVL 20. Affiliation, God Realm, God's Domain. The number 1 power in God's domain, the flame rat exclaimed. It seems like the leaders of the forces in our novice village have already thought of the path of the hero from our sudden increase in level. They also know that we were brought here by the future. White's eyes revealed an inexplicable smile. Everyone knows what the rankings mean. This person called Amami is a smart person. It's my fault. Hua Jinro suddenly apologized. Sister Hua, it's not your fault. According to my observations, the future isn't a petty person. He won't fuss over what happened in the past. You can only blame the newbie villagers for being too quick, Baisei comforted. In fact, this situation was not surprising. Those who had a certain understanding of the game knew what it meant to be on the leaderboard. If he wanted to spread his influence, occupying the rankings was the most important thing. Baisei, what do you think we should do? Among Hua Jinro and the others, she was the oldest. When faced with certain things, she could be considered mature. In terms of composure, Baisei was actually the calmest among them. Even Hua Jinro's elders felt that Baisei was a little too calm. He gave off a feeling of maturity. Of course we're going to collect the scrolls and invite Yi Zichen to attack us. I'll tell him now. Hua Jinro didn't hesitate at all. In less than 30 seconds, he said that after the fight with Tianhai, he also has an appointment. Let's continue then. Baisei frowned. Do we have to find him? The flame rat was a little hesitant. We have the equipment now, so we can give it a try. Of course I can try. Baisei did not reject the flame rat suggestion. The question is, how much can we fight? In the future, we'll need the secret technique to reach the 8th level. How many floors can we fight? 3 or 5? Also, how efficient are we? It will be much slower, Hua Jinro said. That's right. Perhaps we can keep challenging them through the number of scrolls we have. The problem is, we've been playing for 10 hours, and we've only cleared 2 floors. In the future, you'll be able to clear 8 floors in 10 hours, and you'll be 4 times more efficient in the middle. Looks like I have no choice but to look for him. Hua Jinro let out a deep breath. Baisei also smiled and nodded. That's right. That's why we need to make an appointment as soon as possible, because fire might be even busier in the future. Meng Luo. All of a sudden, Hua Jinro raised her eyebrows and said, we have to carry out the plan to make him your son-in-law as soon as possible. Understood. Meng Luo nodded heavily, even though she didn't know what son-in-law meant. Baisei, didn't you tell me that someone was following the flame rat and company before you entered the dungeon? Why can't I see anyone? Hua Jinro suddenly recalled what Baisei said to her before they entered the dungeon. They probably ran. Baisei shrugged. We're almost level 30. Will they still dare to come? At the bar in the newbie village. The content of the second world was very rich, and the entire game was not just about boring leveling up. There were also bars and other leisure places in the game. It was just like the name of the game. This was the second world of the humans. You're pretty lucky. Yi Zichen, who sat in front of the table, looked at the middle-aged man in front of him with a smile. Tianhai LV 20. God domain. My luck has always been very good. Tianhai's expression revealed an incoherent confidence. Level 20. He was an above-average player in the game. His level was not worth mentioning in front of Yi Zichen, but his equipment, a full set of level 20 golden equipment. To be able to have a full set of level 20 equipment at this stage. A rich person. From what Sire said just now, if I'm not wrong, someone contacted you to play the path of the hero. Tianhai asked. A lot. In this short span of less than 5 minutes, Chen Xiaobei's eyes lit up. Yi Zichen received tens of thousands of messages from strangers. This game forbade strangers from bothering him. Of course, if you had money, then this restriction would not exist. Force private messages. 5-star coins per message. Players could also set a restriction to force private messages. For example, you could set it to 50-star coins per message. The system would transfer 50% of the money to the game account of the person who sent the message. From Yi Zichen's point of view, this was pretty good. If there was really something urgent, and he couldn't add someone as a friend, then spending some game coins to send a few messages would save him a lot of trouble. Or who he wanted to scold. Spend money to scold. He could blacklist the person scolded. If he was brave enough, he could ignore them and earn money from the scolding. Yi Zichen had only just found out that he could set a limit. Thus, he immediately increased the limit to 500 star coins. As for Tianhai, he was someone he found in the boundless amount of private messages when the system set the limit. He was very lucky. Just a little more, he persevered and sent more than 2,000 private messages. Yi Zichen was moved by his perseverance. Yi Zichen added him as a friend. 500 star coins. Even now, there are still many people like you coming to find me. Yi Zichen didn't hide it because the current situation was beneficial to him. At first, he was a bit confused. Very quickly, he understood the root of the problem with his many years of gaming experience. These people all had their eyes on the leaderboard. He was the key to getting them onto the leaderboard. Since that's the case, then I won't waste your time. I'll transfer 50,000 universe coins to you right now. We won't take any of the dungeon's equipment. Ding! Respected Universe Gold Card user, 50,000 Universe coins have been transferred to your account. Please check. A message from the Universe Union Bank arrived. I already told you the conditions. I'm not sure how many floors I can get through, but I can guarantee 5. I know. If you can continue after 5 floors, then I won't let you do it for nothing, Tianhai nodded. 50,000 Universe coins was the price of the first 5 floors. Yi Zichen did get to the 8th floor with Hua Jinro and company, but his level also increased by a lot, so the initial level of the dungeon would also increase. As for how many floors he could get through, he wasn't sure either. He got Tianhai's response. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled, then reached out his hand. Pleasure working with you. Tianhai was clearly stunned. Perhaps he had never encountered this sort of situation before. However, after a brief pause, he also reached out his hand. Pleasure working with you. Chapter 2104. Remember in 1 second, pen divided by, fun wonderful pop-up window, free reading. Yes, for God's Domain to occupy the number 1 position on the God's Domain faction list. Yi Zichen was filled with curiosity. It was really, the level of their people was frighteningly low. At the start, Yi Zichen thought that Tianhai had entered the game rather late, so he was only level 20. The other people in God's Domain had higher levels. Yi Zichen never would have guessed that after Tianhai brought their so-called elites over, they'd be able to kill him. Greetings, Great God. Carter was level 17. Hello, Great God. Shirley Tower, LVL 16. Guru. Spartan Warrior, LV 7. That's right. The last Spartan Warrior, whose name was particularly resounding, was only level 7. He handed in the path of the Braveheart quest. 40% experience allowed Yi Zichen to level up to level 31. When he fought against Hua Jinro and company last time, although their levels were lower, at least Yi Zichen's level was lower. Only 24. This time, on Mommy's team, he really wanted him to be a hired thug. Excuse me. Tianhai laughed. Most of us in God's Domain have only been in the game for a short period of time. In truth, I was one of the earliest to join the game. However, I only joined after the game update. He just joined the game, and he's already ranked first on the power rankings? Are there a lot of people in the novice village? Not sure. Tianhai shook his head. Of course, it's not that I don't know how many of us we have. I just don't know how many people we have in this novice village. How many? Yi Zichen asked. About 4,000. Tianhai laughed. Actually, the number here is considered low. Some novice villages have more than 10,000. Yi Zichen was shocked. The novice village in the second world was completely random. In other words, no one could choose their birthplace. Under normal circumstances, every novice village had at least 10 players from their own faction, and that was already quite good. He was considered lucky to be in the top 100. There was almost no one in the top 1,000. Tianhai said that they had more than 4,000 people here, and the other novice villages had more than 10,000 people. Pardon me for asking, but the number of people registered, too many to remember. Amami laughed as he shook his head. But we can roughly estimate that each novice village has several thousand people. Fuck, what's he trying to do? Are they trying to dominate the second world? Each novice village had a few thousand people. If nothing unexpected happened, they would be able to rank first in every novice village. It was a little too terrifying. Are we entering the dungeon now? Tianhai asked with a smile. Sure. As soon as he finished speaking, Tianhai confirmed his challenge. You have entered the path of the hero. Since the highest level of your party is level 31, the checkpoint level is raised to level 36. In the future, every time you clear a floor, you will gain 1 level, 100 seconds. I wish you good results. The familiar system prompt appeared in front of everyone. Yi Zichen stared at the notification, level 36? The last time he was level 24, he only opened it at level 26. Is there a problem? Tianhai couldn't help but ask. when he noticed Yi Zichen's expression. Yes, a little. Yi Zichen licked his lips. The level is a bit high. Is it high? Tianhai was taken aback for a moment. I understand now. The last time you entered, the levels didn't increase like this, right? That's right. I can explain that. Tianhai smiled. I found a few subordinates to try out a few scrolls. The opening levels all start from 1 or 6. What do you mean? Yi Zichen didn't quite understand. For example, if you are level 11, then the starting level is level 16. If you're level 15, then the opening level is still level 16. However, if you're level 16, then the opening level is level 21. If you're level 20, then the opening level is still level 21. Yi Zichen understood. Level 5 was a dividing line in this game. So the dungeon was set up in such a way that the opening of the dungeon was a level higher than other players. That was to increase the difficulty of the dungeon. Yi Zichen's level 24 last time was actually rather high. If he was level 21, then he would fail after a few floors when fighting level 26 monsters. But now, that was the problem he was about to face. His promise was to clear 5 floors, but Yi Zichen didn't know if he could fulfill that promise. If you think it's too difficult, we can leave. Tianhai maintained a smile on his face. No need, just give it a try. The scrolls were bought with money. It would be too much of a waste if he didn't even do it. What's more, this could be counted as Yi Zichen's first real job as a professional. He didn't want to leave a bad impression on his customers and affect his future business. All right, then let's give it a try. With that, Tianhai gave the team leader position to Yi Zichen. Since they had already discussed it before, everything that dropped from the dungeon belonged to Yi Zichen. Level 36 monsters. Wow, I'm going to die. The Spartan warrior laughed. The Spartan warrior grinned. He was only level 7, and if he fought a level 36 monster, he would probably level up by 1 level. Yi Zichen let out a deep breath. Actually, Yi Zichen wasn't completely confident in clearing 5 floors. However, the first 4 floors shouldn't be too much of a problem. Begin the challenge. All of a sudden, a pile of stone men appeared in the training space. Are the monsters different? Stoneman Guard level 36. The name didn't change too much. It was still the suffix of guard. Yi Zichen stepped forward with his sword. Ding! With 1 strike, the Stoneman Guard's HP decreased sharply. I feel like there's a difference in their attributes as well. Yi Zichen muttered to himself. Although the Trant Guard's HP was higher than the Rockman Guard's, its defense was higher than the Rockman Guard's. Could it be different scrolls had different challenges and the monster's attributes also had their pros and cons? This was only Yi Zichen's second challenge. He needed to fight a few more times in order to prove it. Yi Zichen killed the Stoneman Guard with 2 strikes without activating any secret techniques. When the Stoneman Guard died, Yi Zichen's experience bar increased by a pitiful 0.3%. Killing 300 level 36 dungeon monsters wasn't enough to level up. The experience needed to level up was truly huge. This was only level 31. How was he supposed to level up to level 500? Couldn't he level up for a year? However, Yi Zichen forgot that this was a cosmic game. The lifespan of humans in the universe was already very long. A year's time was equivalent to a day on Earth. Leaving the novice village in a day was already very fast. F***CK, I leveled up. The Spartan warrior shouted. Hearing that, Yi Zichen looked over and saw that the guy really leveled up to level 8. He had only thought that a monster might level up. He didn't expect a monster to level up. Boom, flames burned. Countless walls of fire were placed in the middle of the stone men. The stone men had a certain resistance towards fire elements, but they were still damaged. Yi Zichen also held his long sword after placing the walls of fire. This is nothing. Yi Zichen smiled towards the Spartan warrior. I'll let you experience the rocket leveling method. Chapter 2105. Damn. Inside the trial grounds, the shocking God's Domain's elite's eyes had reached the extreme as they watched their levels rapidly rise. 2 hours, in just a short 2 hours. The Spartan warrior, who was only level 7 when he entered the trial ground, was now level 28. Kite and Primogenitor Tower were already level 28. Tianhai was level 29. He successfully entered the novice village's heavenly ranking. This kind of efficiency was truly astonishing. As the golem elder fell to the ground, the four of them leveled up again. He then stored the star coins and equipment into his bag. The first 4 levels of the trial had ended. Yizichin didn't find it particularly difficult. What he cared more about was the 5th floor, a level 40 monster. In terms of monster attributes, it was equivalent to an increase of 2 levels. He didn't know if Yizichin, who was still wearing level 30 equipment, could hold on. Just as Yizichin opened the 5th floor, the Galaxy Novice Village was in an uproar again. As expected, the Great God is leading the God Domain people to fight. In a Novice Village, Meng Luo looked at the rapidly increasing levels of the God's Domain members on the leaderboard, as well as Yizichin, who was also steadily increasing in level. 2 hours. That's fast, the Flame Rat said. At the same time, the Flame Rat's tone was filled with envy. He had experienced the thrill of being an EXP baby. After becoming an EXP baby, he was no longer in the mood to level up. What was the point of leveling? Playing for 10 hours might not be as efficient as someone else playing for an hour. Hua Jianrou looked at the rankings silently. He checked the scrolls in his bag. How many scrolls have you received? After a while, Hua Jianrou looked at the other members of the team. Flame Rat. 3. Meng Luo replied. 2. 5. Bai Sei replied. I also received 3 here. Hua Jianrou pursed her lips. We have a total of 13 scrolls. Meng Luo, contact your future almighty and tell him we have to queue up. In the meantime, in the VIP room of the auction house. Boss, we've already collected more than 20 scrolls. Azure River looked at the number of instance dungeon scrolls on the table and said, there's enough. Moreover, it's not easy to collect instance dungeon scrolls in the beginner village. Of course, Withered Tree answered matter-of-factly. We're not the only ones who want to buy scrolls in bulk and look for the future. Anyone with half a brain would have thought of this. I've already lined up with Future. During this period of time, try to collect as many as possible. We must ensure that after he leads us, we can maintain an absolute lead in terms of levels. But the scrolls have already reached 50,000. Qingyi said, even if it's 100,000, we'll still take it. Kumu frowned. Just listen to me. Everyone, go out and collect the scrolls. The members of the Magic Tower in the VIP room left. Qingxi was left in the VIP lounge. Seeing her expression, Kumu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Under normal circumstances, this kind of expression from Qingxi meant that she had something to say. What are you worried about? I'm thinking that a few of the major forces in our novice village have set their sights on the path of the brave. Green Hair exhaled deeply. As a result, everyone is buying scrolls without restraint, and their goal is to search for the future. Don't you think this is a good sign? Are you trying to say that in the future, only one family will dominate? Kumu asked. Yes. Green Silk looked at Future, who is already far ahead of the others on the ranking list. He's leading people, and his level has never stagnated. Right now, he's already level 32. If we fight against each other, we will be pulled further and further away from him. There's nothing we can do about that. Kumu licked his lips. How could he not know about this outcome? Even if we don't search for it, others will definitely search for it. Then, not only will we be pulled away by Future, we will also be pulled away by others. AI. Hearing that, Green Hair sighed deeply. From her perspective, this was a vicious cycle, and there was no way to deal with this vicious cycle. I'm going to collect the scrolls. With that, Green Hair left the room. Kumu clenched his teeth and opened a private message with Yizichin. Bro Future, I've already waited for a long time. How many more levels will it take before it's our turn? Level 5 is over. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. Yizichin smiled towards Sky Sea when the boss of the 5th floor fell. I didn't expect the person with the secret technique to be you. Sky Sea smiled. When they reached the 5th floor, Yizichin's equipment was practically unable to break through his defense, so they would have to activate the secret technique if they wanted to kill him. At first, Yizichin wanted to hide it. However, when he thought about bringing others with him in the future, the secret technique would eventually be exposed. This kind of thing couldn't be hidden anymore. Furthermore, if the leaders of other forces knew that he had a secret technique, it would be more beneficial to his future business. With the secret technique, there was no need to worry about Yi Zichen losing. As long as he wanted, he could clear all 10 levels. Yi Zichen and the others were simply taking what they needed. You need to rank up if you want to get on the leaderboard. Yi Zichen needed money to buy resources. The 5th floor that we agreed on has been completed. If there's anything else, please contact me at any time. Yi Zichen smiled, then prepared to leave the dungeon. Wait, Sky Sea stretched out his hand. Since you have a secret technique in the future, why don't you continue? I can pay you 100,000 universe credits for the next 5 floors. How about it? No need. Yi Zichen grinned. 100,000 universe credits was not a small amount, but for the current him, actually, it wasn't much. Some people are already waiting impatiently, and the first 5 levels have already offered a price of 100,000. We will meet again if fate wills it. Farewell, everyone. With that, Yi Zichen turned into a beam of white light. Yi Zichen clicked to submit the path of the Hero Instance Dungeon. 25% experience, 15% chance of obtaining the Heart of the Hero, but he still did not get it. Interesting. Sky Sea smiled as he watched Yi Zichen leave the Instance Dungeon. He looked at his position on the Heaven ranking, as well as the person who was so far ahead that no one could shake his position. Future, Your Majesty, the Spartan warrior walked over. The Spartan warrior walked up and said, "What should we do next?" The future has already shown that someone is deliberately raising the price. This is not good news. At that moment, the Spartan warrior and the other 2 people did not look like the newbies they were before. Actually, their contact with Yi Zichen this time, it was just a probing contact. Now that the test was over, they were certain that Yi Zichen did have the ability to lead the path of the hero alone. Just let them do it, Sky Sea smiled. I, Sky Sea Ecomb, have never been afraid of anyone when it comes to money. Your Majesty, I will slowly talk to him. You guys go and help the others level up. I don't think they will be able to reach us in a short period of time. Try to use your level advantage to help the others level up as well, said Sky Sea. Understood.